Welcome to Novel Love Hearing. We bring you hundreds of novel audiobooks covering every genre and every kind of story you can imagine. Action? We've got it. Adventure? Absolutely. Horror? Of course. Whether it's the legendary Uchiha Massacre or outrageous tales like stealing Naruto's and Sasuke's women, you'll find it here. From epic series like One Piece, Bleach, Fairy Tail, and Hunter x Hunter, to countless other adventures, our library has it all. Love novels but don't have time to read? No worries, just plug in your earbuds, sit back, and let the story take over. Good listening, and happy hearing. It was even more shocking for the mathematics exam, where it was lower than the national average by a total of 40 points. When all the scores were combined, the total scores that the Beijing examinees got was lower than the national average by more than 70 points. These figures had truly shocked a lot of the netizens who saw it. Another group of people who were similarly shocked by this were the people from the Beijing Higher Education Entrance Examination Board and their question setters. At the board's office. What the hell? There was nothing wrong with the tabulation of scores, right? Why don't we tabulate the data again? Many of the staff working at the Higher Education Entrance Examination Board were sucking in gasps of cold air due to the low scores. The data had been available to them earlier, and they were even the ones who were responsible for tabulating the data. But from the time they received the data until now, every one of the staff couldn't help but draw in a breath of cold air every time they saw these figures. It was terrible. It was really appalling to look at. If the media and industry insiders had analyzed this year's Beijing mathematics test to be the hardest in the history of the Beijing college entrance exam, then after seeing these statistics, they would have to modify their stance to place it as the most difficult in the history of the national college entrance exam. The mathematics exam had an average score of 59 points. The average of all the examinees was only 59 points. There had never before been an occurrence of such a low average for the mathematics test of the college entrance exam. This was an eye-opener for many of the veteran staff at the board's office. Such low scores were previously unheard of or seen before. Zhang Yi and dozens of other question setters had also arrived at the board's office today to join a meeting and discussion on some issues, but he was somehow caught in such a scenario. Suna looked at Zhang Yi. Suddenly, everyone's focus turned to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi gave an awkward cough, probably feeling a little embarrassed. Ahem, about that, in any case, the cutoff score will be adjusted lower, so there isn't really a difference and shouldn't affect the admissions. When he gave this excuse, even he was not totally convinced of it. To be honest, Zhang Yi himself did not expect the examinees to score this low either. There was silence. No one spoke as they let this awkward scene play out. Then Zhang Yi immediately said to Dean Pan, "I'd already said that I didn't want to take this job at the beginning, yet you insisted that I do it." Hi. All of the Higher Education Entrance Examination Board office staff. Dean Pan nearly fainted at that. "You rascal, pushing the blame onto me again, are you?" A leader of the board didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He quickly mediated, "It's already turned out like this, so even if the scores are low, so be it. At most we will suffer a little loss of face, but it's really nothing much." Zhang Yi immediately said, that's right. It's not even a big matter at all. We can definitely get through this." That leader of the Higher Education Entrance Examination Board nearly fainted at this response. He was just trying to mediate the situation so that everyone could take a step back, but it seemed like Zhang Yi was really good at latching onto the topic. But it was really as he said it. What's done was done, so what else could they do about it? All they needed to do was to just stick to the procedures and move on from there. Luckily, there was someone who got a perfect score on the math test, a board supervisor consoled. Zhang Yi's curiosity perked when he heard that. Someone got a perfect score? That person nodded. Just one. A girl. Zhang Yi was very curious about who it was. What's her name? That person said, Huang Lingling. Huang Lingling? It's her? Zhang Yi smiled, looking very pleased. He knew who this girl was. At the previous International Math Olympiad held at Summer Palace, Huang Lingling was a representative of the youth team for China, together with her brother, Huang Lialai. Zhang Yi got to know them both on that occasion and had spoken to them quite a bit. Huang Lingling had even mentioned that if she managed to qualify for Peking University, she would want to be a student of Zhang Yi so that he could personally teach her more about math. He didn't think at that time that she would be taking her college entrance exam this year. Soon after, the Beijing college entrance exam admission cutoff scores were released. Arts subjects Tier 1 grade cutoff score, 467. Science subjects Tier 1 grade cutoff score, 464. Arts subjects Tier 2 grade cutoff score, 425. Science subjects Tier 2 grade cutoff score, 421. The cutoff scores for the entire admissions exercise had dropped drastically. It was so low that the scores were totally unheard of by many people. Immediately, the Beijing college entrance exams were once again the focal point of discussion in society. This time, not only Beijing television and the other provincial satellite stations were reporting about it on their news programs, even Central TV Department 1's news simulcast reported about it that very night. Although Zhang Yi was also working at Central TV Department 1, but with the corporate structure rather bloated and the staff divided into many different departments, those who were involved in the variety shows had nothing in common with those program teams involved in the news. Even Zhang Yi, who had been working at Central TV Department 1 for so many days now, did not know which floor the news simulcast program team was situated at. That was why Central TV Department 1's news program reporting on the Beijing college entrance exam was not done so for Zhang Yi, nor was it out of respect for the Voices program team. It was purely because of the big commotion that the Beijing college entrance exams had caused. The Beijing exams exposure in the media skyrocketed even further. Zhang Yi's exposure rate also soared along with it. Overall, even though he had been scolded a lot, it was still not a bad thing for Zhang Yi, as his reputation continued to rise every day. On Weibo, when the Beijing admissions cutoff scores were published, the condemning comments from the examinees also gradually lessened. I was scared to death, but luckily I managed to get a Tier 1 score. I qualified for the Tier 2s. Your sister. I initially thought that my low score of 430 in the science subjects would only have qualified me for a vocational college, but I never expected to manage to qualify for Tier 2 instead. Everyone's scores are low, therefore the admissions cutoff grades were also adjusted accordingly. I was very lucky too. Somehow I got a Tier 1 score. Good. From the results, it looks like I did pretty well this year. Usually, I only get Tier 2 scores, but because of those wondrous questions this year, it somehow went my way instead, allowing me to realize my potential and getting myself a Tier 1 score. Still, I feared for my future. Yeah, I would never want to come across questions like this again in the future. Reject drugs, stay away from Zhang Yi. Please send Teacher Zhang as far away as possible. Don't let him come near us in case we get ruined again. I'm in 11th grade this year and will be taking my college entrance exam next year. To the Beijing Higher Education Entrance Examination Board, may I thank you first for getting rid of someone like Zhang Yi in advance? That guy is such a bastard. Please get rid of Zhang Yi. Seconded. Suddenly, a lot of 11th grade students from the other provinces started gloating at the Beijing students who were due to take their college entrance exam next year. Hee. The Beijing college entrance exams had always been so easy all these years, so it's high time that you guys have it hard now. That kind of difficulty level shouldn't be too bad, right? Haha. Yeah, the wheel of fortune is always turning. It's finally your turn. Good luck to the Beijing examinees. Have a good one. I'll suggest to the Beijing Higher Education Entrance Examination Board to get Zhang Yi to set the questions every year. Since the schools in Beijing have so many resources and places for students, they should have to go through a tougher process. I'd be delighted to see that. Zhang Yi, beautifully done. There's still room to raise the difficulty of the questions. Teacher Zhang, work harder next year. Make it so difficult that they want to kill themselves. Right, please do that. I will be taking the national college entrance exams anyway, so there's nothing for me to be afraid of. Quite a lot of people were adding fuel to the fire. The Beijing examinees gnashed their teeth with hatred. But right at this moment, a piece of news was suddenly published online. It was a conversation between a reporter and the supervisor of the National College Entrance Examination question setting team. The conversation was as follows: Reporter, Professor Naiu, the college entrance exam results are finally out. Professor Naiu, yes. Reporter, the Beijing exams this year have attracted all the attention. I've just received the latest update that says that the Beijing examinees only scored an average of around 50 on the math test, while the scores for the Chinese literature test were not much better either. Professor Naiu, I saw it too. Reporter, what are your views on this? There's an uproar of condemnation online about whether the Beijing exams were too harsh on the examinees. Professor Naiu, I've seen those comments online as well. Actually, my opinion is different from most of you. I think that the questions used in this year's Beijing exams were very good. It was something new and had a good level of difficulty. On top of that, it also achieved its basic function of evaluating the examinees and assigning them to their tiers. My comment on this is the standard of the Beijing exams is very high, the question setter is also of a very high standard, and in terms of the reform steps needed to be taken for our exam standards, Beijing is leading at the forefront of this revolution. We have also discussed this before and would like to make some reforms on our side as well, so if it's at all possible, we would like for Teacher Zhang to join us for next year's question-setting task in the National College Entrance Exam. When they saw this news article, those 11th grade students who were just making fun of the Beijing students earlier also turned green in the face. Suddenly, an explosion of reactions followed. The National Higher Education Entrance Examination Board also wants to invite Zhang Yi to join them. God damn it to your 5th great-grandma. Don't, please don't. Oh brother, please don't joke like this, I have a weak heart. How did it turn out like this? Go fuck your grandpa. Are they planning to send us all to our graves? Beijing was already a warning with the immediate damage it caused among the examinees. Could it really happen to us next year? Your sister. I protest. I will be the first one to protest against this. That's too inhumane. Professor Naiu, don't mess around like this. Our old comrade Naiu, if you dare invite Zhang Yi to join the National Higher Education Entrance Examination Board next year, do you think I won't head to your house to smash your windows with rocks? What kind of a grudge do you bear against those of us who are taking the National College entrance exams? Please get rid of Zhang Yi. Get rid of him. Woo woo woo. I don't want to see him either. It's over. We're definitely done for next year. Those who had been mocking the Beijing examinees sometime earlier were dumbfounded at this moment. If the Beijing college entrance exams had implicated just a small percentage of the examinees, then the national college entrance exams, which covered a lot more of the provinces and examinees, would affect a great deal of people. This was something that countless 11th grade students who would be next year's examinees from the various provinces and municipalities would not agree to at all. When such a massive group of people came together online and exploded into protesting voices, earth-shattering wails and howls could be heard. Don't, please don't. Teacher, I want to die. I suddenly feel like I'm screwed. In contrast, the Beijing examinees doubled over laughing at the turn of the tide. Ha 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 ha. Serves them right. They deserved it for taking us as a joke. Ayo, how hilarious. I'm dying from the joy. This is what they mean by pride goes before the fall. You'll all have a chance to try out Zhang Yi's exams next year. Let's see if you all can still laugh when the time comes. Take care. The jinx has gone to look for you guys. You're on your own. Good luck. Yet another commotion was beginning on the internet. Some people were crying, some were angrily scolding, some just joined in to observe the fun as it all devolved into chaos. 715 Meeting Wuzeking Chapter 715, Meeting Wuzeking on the weekend. In the morning, the internet bustled with noise and controversy. However, Zhang Yi, the person at the center of the controversy, was still sleeping in at home. Probably tired from working too hard recently, Zhang Yi, who almost never snored, was snoring away. He didn't look too pretty sleeping there, hugging his blanket and drooling on his pillow unawares. The bedroom door opened. His mother walked in. Little Yi. Ah. Zhang Yi responded in a confused state of mind. His mother said, get up and go have your breakfast. Zhang Yi turned around and covered his head with a blanket. I'm not eating. I want to sleep. His mother said, I've already bought soy milk and fried breadsticks for breakfast. I'm not prepared to get up so early. I'm too tired. Wake me when lunch is ready, Zhang Yi said. His father overheard their conversation from outside the bedroom. Didn't you say yesterday that you would accompany your mother and go shopping during the day? It wasn't easy for you to get some days off, so stop sleeping already. Zhang Yi grumbled, Dad, I really can't get up, I'm too tired. Chen also walked into the bedroom and glanced over at the bed. Zhang Yi, you're so lazy. His mother stared at him. See, even little Chen is criticizing you. Don't you feel ashamed? Zhang Yi grunted, no matter who criticizes me, I will not get up. His mother said, hurry up and get up, breakfast is getting cold. I'm not eating. Zhang Yi drowsily remained lying down in bed. Mom, it's not that I don't want get up, but I really can't get up. This bro is so tired and aching all over that I intend to sleep until the afternoon. Even if the sky is falling, I won't get out of bed. With that, his droopy eyelids closed and he went back to sleep again. When his mother realized that he would not wake up, she helplessly prepared to leave his bedroom. At that same moment, Zhang Yi's cell phone beside the pillow started to ring. Zhang Yi woke up again and picked up his cell phone impatiently and answered, Who is it? A mature and gentle woman's voice at the other side replied, It's me. Oh, old Wu. It was Wu Zeking. You're up already? Old Wu, are you still sleeping? Zhang Yi, yes, you don't have work today? Old Wu, I took the day off. Are you busy today? Zhang Yi, no, I've got nothing on. Old Wu, I've been thinking about how we haven't met in a long time. Since I have the next 2 days off, if you're not busy, do you want to come over to Big Sis's place? Or do you want to sleep a while longer? Another day maybe? Upon hearing this, Zhang Yi immediately sat up. I've had enough sleep. I'll be right there. After hanging up, he got out from his bed and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to visit a friend. I'm leaving now. Mom. Dad. Chenjin." The three of them were at a total loss for words. "Didn't you say that even if the sky collapsed, you wouldn't get out of your bed?" It was around 8 in the morning. In the high-end district of Tower and Pavilion's East Gate. When Zhang Yi drove his car over, he found that the gates to Wu Zeking's house were already open. He drove directly into the courtyard and parked it there instead of in the garage. He knew that Wu Zeking had kept the gates open for him. When he got out of the car, Zhang Yi immediately spotted old Wu sitting near the flower beds in the yard. She was holding something and tilling the soil, appearing to be fiddling with the flowers. Wu Zeking also looked at him at this moment. Their eyes met. How long had it been since he had last seen old Wu? Zhang Yi could not remember how long it had been anymore. He only knew that it had been a very long time, at least a month or two. When Wu Zeking was newly appointed as the Sarft's deputy chief, she was too busy with work. After that, Zhang Yi had accepted the offer to work on a program at Central TV Department 1 and the question-setting duty for the college entrance exam, leaving him too busy for other things. The two of them only kept in contact by texting or through phone calls since they basically had no time to meet up, so when he finally got to see Wu Zeking again this time, Zhang Yi's heart thumped with excitement. He had missed her badly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have even gotten up from his bed immediately after just receiving a call from old Wu. Zhang Yi quickly walked over to her. "What are you doing?" Wu Zeking smiled. "I'm loosening the soil for the flowers. I was away on a business trip for the past week and had just returned to Beijing yesterday. It's been such a long time since I've taken care of them." "Let me help you," Zhang Yi volunteered. Wu Zeking said, "Don't dirty your hands. I'm just finishing up here. I've nothing else to do anyway." Zhang Yi picked up a forked stick from the ground and followed along, mimicking her loosening of the soil. At the same time, he also helped her to water the flowers. They chatted as they gardened. Old Wu said, "I heard that many of the examinees are scolding you now?" Zhang Yi said, "Are they?" Old Wu looked at him. "I think so. It was even published in the newspapers." Zhang Yi said, "Hi, don't talk about that. It's so unfair to me, and I don't even have a way to seek redress. The Beijing Higher Education Entrance Examination Board came to find me and demanded a reform of the college entrance exam. They wanted the question setters to word the questions in the most difficult way possible. So when I heard that, sure, I'll make the questions then. But as it turned out, when the exams were done, the examinees started blaming it all on me. Why didn't they criticize the other question setters as well? Why didn't they scold the Beijing Higher Education Entrance Examination Board instead? Don't you think I've been wronged? Therefore, I'll simply not show my face for now and lie low for a few more days. After this issue passes, this bro will return as good as new again." Wu Zeking stood up and dusted the soil off her hands. "Alright, I'm done here. Go into the house and have a seat first, I'll tidy up the things outside." "Oh right, there are some boxes on the sofa. Open them up and take a look." Zhang Yi asked curiously, "What's in them?" Wu Zeking smiled gently. "I went shopping during my business trip and I bought 2 sets of clothes for you. Try them on and see if they suit you. I think they will look nice on you." Zhang Yi chuckled. "You're super busy, yet you still found time to buy clothes for me." Wu Zeking smiled and said, "Go on. Try them." Although Zhang Yi affectionately chided her, he was actually very happy inside. He went into the house and searched around on the first floor. He spotted the packaging on the sofa and unwrapped them one by one. After looking at the clothes, he immediately took them and went upstairs to try them on. He went downstairs. "I changed." Zhang Yi showed off his new attire. Wu Zeking had finished tidying up the flower beds and had just returned to the house. "Let me get a good look." After studying him thoroughly, she nodded slightly and beamed. "You look pretty good. This color and style are quite suitable for you. Do they fit?" Zhang Yi also liked the clothes a lot. "Yep. That's good." Wu Zeking walked up to him and adjusted his collar a little. "It's a bit crumpled here. Take it off later. I'll iron it for you." "Okay." Zhang Yi also looked in the mirror. "You have good taste indeed. I was getting worried recently that I would have no more clothes to wear. It's already been some months since I've bought any new clothes." Old Wu said, "You're quite frugal." Zhang Yi said, "I'm not being frugal, it's just that I don't have the chance to buy clothes. Whenever I go to the mall, I get recognized easily, so it's inconvenient to buy anything there. Unlike other celebrities, they have an agent and agency to help take care of their necessities and even have companies providing custom-made clothes for them. I don't have an agent nor an agency. Although I have an office, Central TV is such a petty employer. Although they will prepare a wardrobe for the show, after the show ends, you have to sign for it and return it. If we do not sign or the clothes go missing, we still have to compensate them out of pocket. Wu Zeking looked at his reflection and said, next time you want to get some clothes, let me know and I'll help you get them. You are a public figure and associate professor now, so you definitely have to be particular about your clothing. When people look at you, they'd at least have to see you as a professor, right? Right. Have you eaten breakfast yet? Not yet. What about you? I just ate. There's still some kanji left. Do you want some? What type of kanji? Millet kanji. I'll take it. Do you want eggs? Yes, I want them sunny side up. Wait a while then. Sorry for the trouble, old Wu. It's no trouble. Zhang Yi isn't modest, he treated her home as his own. He closed his eyes and leaned back on the sofa comfortably with his legs crossed while waiting for breakfast to be ready. Whenever he was with old Wu, she would never let him do any chores. In the past, Zhang Yi had in fact tried to argue for a bit, wanting to help her with the chores. But after that, he no longer insisted. 716 Zhang Yi's classroom is back. Chapter 716, Zhang Yi's classroom is back. After breakfast. Old Wu, I'm full. Did you like it? It was really delicious. It's not like this bro is sucking up to you by saying that, but your culinary skills are truly excellent. Among all the people I've come across since childhood, your cooking tastes the best. I've never eaten anything so delicious before. I even had 2 or 3 bowls of the millet kanji. If I ate any more than that, my stomach would have burst apart. I'm so full now that I can't stuff myself any further. As long as you like eating it. That's for sure. Do whatever you need to do. Big sis will go and do the dishes now. Oh, do you have a notebook? Laptop you mean? Yes, it's upstairs in my bedroom's drawer. Alright, I need to use it. Go ahead and get it from upstairs. Zhang Yi made himself at home and headed straight up to old Wu's bedroom. He found the laptop and brought it downstairs. He spotted a shady area in the front yard of the villa where there was a rocking chair. Seeing that it was old Wu's garden and how it looked pretty nice out there, he headed outside and laid back on the rocking chair. He powered on the laptop and placed it on his lap, then got online. He also played some music to listen to by the by. Old Wu was washing the dishes while Zhang Yi admired her. There was a sense of harmony in the air. Sometimes, this was what a relationship should be like. There wasn't any earth-shattering, over-the-top excitement. Both people could just be doing their own things and not say a word to each other, but as long as they were together and could see each other, it was still something they could be very happy about and the relationship would still be as strong as any other. Old Wu was wearing a neat white shirt today. It was very simple, without any decorations or patterns on it. She was in a pair of coffee-colored slacks and her shirt was tucked in, secured with a thin belt. She looked very capable and experienced doing what she was doing. Her clothes did not get in the way of her scrubbing the bowls, nor did any water splash onto her. Just from this alone, it could be seen that she regularly did her own chores. Just thinking about how a great beauty like that was his girlfriend, all of the cells in his body were exploding with happiness. However he thought, she was beautiful. However he looked, he felt extremely pleasant. The so-called mood defined actions. When a person was happy, anything they did wouldn't feel tough. Zhang Yi hummed along to the music from the laptop as he logged into Weibo. He posted, "Good news. Good news. Zhang Yi's classroom is back." Zhang Yi had actually intended to lie low for several days and not appear anywhere for at least 10 to 15 days. However, as he was unable to suppress the good mood he was in today, he decided that he would just make an appearance. When he appeared, his Weibo suddenly became lively. "That Zhang guy is here. You still dare appear? Capture the wild Zhang Yi. Scold him. Everyone, come and beat up this guy." Zhang Yi is planning on proposing another question. It's Zhang Yi's classroom again? Those elementary math questions from the previous time nearly made me vomit blood. What kinds of questions are you planning on this time? The key question is, what are the prizes? If the prizes aren't attractive enough, I won't be taking part. I would like to see just what sort of wondrous question you can come up with this time. Quite a lot of people had gathered around, including some of this year's college entrance examinees, Zhang Yi's fans, and some observing netizens, pushing the popularity of his Weibo up the charts. When Zhang Yi saw enough people observing his Weibo, he smiled and posted, "The same rules apply. I will post several questions and prizes will be awarded for those who get them all correct." Because of this year's college entrance examinations Chinese literature and mathematics questions difficulty level, many of you have very strong negative opinions of me, so I have decided to increase the level of the prizes. Those who can correctly answer all the questions that I give will not only receive an autographed calligraphy piece from me, they will also be able to scold me face to face for 30 minutes. There's no limit to the amount of prize winners, but it's on a first come, first serve basis. Come and quickly join in. When he announced this, the netizens were all stirred up. Are you for real? Are you sure, Teacher Zhang? Ha 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 ha. I must definitely join. Can we really scold you face to face? That would be great. Count me in. Everyone, let's answer this together. Everyone, come and join in. The more people we have, the stronger we get. If we can win this, then we will have a chance to scold Zhang Yi right to his face. Come on, give us the questions. Zhang Yi is totally underestimating us. After he presented those elementary math questions previously, I went through them many times and ascertained his style of question writing. Now that we're doing this again, I'm sure I'll definitely be able to answer all of them correctly. Everyone, let's do this. This opportunity might never come again. I've been waiting so long for this day to come. Everything was written out in black and white and with everyone as witness. Let's not give Zhang Yi the chance to deny it when he loses. He, I've already taken screenshots for evidence. We must definitely let Zhang Yi have a taste of defeat this time. Word of this event spread like wildfire. In the blink of an eye, countless people had gathered here, especially those examinees from this year's Beijing college entrance exam. They were all gnashing their teeth, hating Zhang Yi. So when they saw this chance, they immediately put down whatever they were doing and charged over, each more high-spirited than the last, each roaring more than the last. When Zhang Yi saw all the excited netizens, he mustered up a laugh. This time, it won't be an elementary math question. The scope of these questions will be the same as the college entrance exam, except they won't distinguish between different subjects. Come on. Whatever you say. I can answer any question you give. Give the questions quickly. I'm getting impatient. There's nothing to be afraid of even if it's a college entrance exam question. We have so many examinees here. Even if I can't do it, there are still university students around. If they are unable to answer as well, there are still all the post-grads getting their masters or PhDs. If all of us unite, we can definitely bring down Zhang Yi. Countless netizens were all gathered on Weibo, their eyes watching and waiting for the questions to be released. At this moment, Wu Zeking finished washing the dishes and was walking out of the house. Are you chatting online? Zhang Yi raised his head and smiled at her. I'm holding an event, a question and answer session with a chance at winning a prize. Let me see. Old Wu walked beside him. Zhang Yi slid over. Let's sit together. The chair wasn't exactly spacious, because how large could a rocking chair be? Old Wu looked down and did not reject the offer. She sat down next to him. Old Wu read all the posts on his Weibo. Are you seriously going to find some time to let the netizens scold you? Zhang Yi said. How is that possible? Then why did you say that? Old Wu said with a smile. Zhang Yi replied happily, the key here is that they must first be able to answer my questions correctly. Old Wu, who was leaning back in the chair now, suddenly had her interest perked. I want to see what kinds of questions you have prepared too. A number of people on Weibo were already pressing for the questions to be released faster. Quickly. Where did he go? Did Teacher Zhang run away because he got scared? Quickly post the questions. I'm getting anxious here. You've already promised us that we can get to scold you if we get everything correct. We're all witnesses here. Even if you run, it's no use. Teacher Zhang, you're definitely going to lose this time. Everyone was very excited. At this moment, Zhang Yi's Weibo updated. He posted the interesting questions from his previous world line by line onto Weibo. 717 Zhang Yi, you've really won. Chapter 717, Zhang Yi, you've really won. The questions were announced on Zhang Yi's Weibo. Question 1, Essay. The question was as follows. A young man is wandering around at the beach, looking glum. Why the long face? An old man asks. The young man explained that even though he had always done his best in life and his work, he had never gotten recognized or respected. Watch carefully. The old man picked up a grain of sand and threw it away. Can you find that grain of sand? The young man smiled wryly and shook his head. I have here with me a pearl as well. The old man took out a huge pearl and weighed it in his hand, then proceeded to throw it onto the beach. Now, that won't be difficult to find, right? Become a pearl and no one will ignore you. The question was posted on Weibo, line by line. When many of the netizens read up to here, they smiled. This is too simple. This question is a very traditional one. This composition isn't bad. This is the first time I've read this story, and while it looks very simple and straightforward, it carries a rather strong philosophy behind it. Even if this question had been included in the college entrance exam this year, it would have been very suitable. It allows for a very clear thought process so that the examinees can reflect and extend on it, as it focuses on the importance of self-worth and society's acknowledgement that could then be written as an essay. The essay can start off with the story of the sand grain and pearl, or from the importance of hard work and As the netizens commented and analyzed the question in all seriousness, the topic of the question was suddenly and unexpectedly revealed. If I become a pearl, no one would ignore me anymore? That made a lot of sense, as the young man thought about it for a moment, then he picked up the pearl and ran off. Question requirement: please use the topic of where should the most basic level of trust between people exist. To write an essay. There is no limitation to how the topic is used, but the essay must not be fewer than 800 words. At this line, all the netizens were dumbfounded. Holy fuck. The most basic level of trust. Between people? What kind of a twist is this? Zhang Yi, I'm cursing your great-grandpa. Where did the self-worth and society's acknowledgement we were just talking about go? And the story of the grain of sand and pearl that somehow got cut short and became a mess? Why did he steal the pearl and run away? Does he need to have such low moral integrity? Your sister. After that long-ass introduction, the requirement of the question had nothing to do with it at all. Zhang Yi, you cheat. PFFT. I'm cramping from laughing. Damn, we've been tricked by this passage again. When the question requirement was given, everyone immediately jumped up and started cursing colorfully. They'd witnessed wondrous questions before, but nothing as wondrous as this. Was this a Chinese literature question or a joke? I was still wondering why Zhang Yi would offer that prize so calmly. Yeah, this question is basically unanswerable. Who says it's unanswerable? I'll give it a try. Right. It's just asking for where should the most basic level of trust between people exist. I'll write an essay. Some of the netizens charged forward, ready to give their answers. Come on, next question. Where's the second question? I won't believe that we can't answer your questions. That's right, we will settle it once and for all with this guy today. I'm getting so furious. At the Wu residence. On the lawn in the front yard. When Wu Zeking saw the question Zhang Yi had typed onto his screen, she let out a laugh and then said, "No wonder you're always getting a scolding from everyone else." Zhang Yi sniggered. That's how they show their love for me. Old Wu said, is that so? Of course, Zhang Yi replied as his hands continued typing the next question. On Weibo. With the countless netizens waiting, the second question was revealed. Mathematics problem: 50 women are performing a square dance in a plaza. They are all spread out 1 meter apart from each other, with the speakers broadcasting at 170 decibels. Xiaoming's house is situated on the 7th floor. The current wind speed is 3 meters per second. The netizens began analyzing the problem. It's time for a math question. Will it ask for the duration needed for the sound to travel? Or something else? 50 people spread out in a formation, 1 meter from each other? The decibel unit is a little troublesome, and there's even wind speed involved? If we ignore the acoustic resonance factor and transmission loss of power, then it won't be difficult to solve this problem. I've already started my calculations. It's quite simple. All I need to know now is what the problem is asking for. Then, within the next second, the question was revealed. Question: what is the probability of success should Xiaoming attempt to dump feces on the women in the plaza? Ah. The netizens all fainted all once. Dumping feces? Why would it be asking about dumping feces? I'll dump on your sister, Zhang Yi. What about the transmission of sound we were just talking about? Let me calm down for a moment, I feel a little lightheaded. How did this become a probability question? Hey Zhang, why do you never play according to the rules? Let me give this question a try. I don't believe I can't do it. Since the weight of the feces is unknown, as well as the throwing strength and speed, the women in the question are also gathered in a single location. When the feces are flung, their surface area will gradually change. Let us first establish the axes of the objects. If Xiaoming is on the z-axis, then the senior ladies will be on the xy axis. Next, we have to calculate the parabola of the flung object. Previous poster, you're awesome. Bro, we are all depending on you. Good luck. I think you can do it. Some science geek started doing the calculations. At this moment, Zhang Yi's third question was posted. Question: spring is the season for mating. At 6 p.m. Beijing time, on the day of the vernal equinox, Police Constable Zili raised his head to the sky at a 38 degrees angle of elevation and saw the North Star. Afterwards, he led his team and rushed into an underground prostitution den to raid it. What are the most likely words that the John in the room would shout out when he realizes that this is a raid? A. Edid Shena, 2. Oh my god in Guangzhong dialect, B. Dayu Lei Lum, 3. Fuck your mom in Cantonese, C. Nan Xiang Zusa, 4. What do you want in Shanghainese, D. Cybele, 5. Motherfucker, in Korean, countless strings of what the fuck were already flashing in front of the netizens' eyes. What kind of a question is this? What the heck is this? Why does it even include the word Cybele? Who the hell would know what they would shout out? who can solve this question? With that, Zhang Yi followed up with his last question. Question 4. A BMW sedan with a power rating of 6.0 by 104 watts is traveling on a level highway when it comes to a braking stop 5 meters away from an old granny. The old granny's weight is known to be 50 kilograms. With the experience from the previous 3 questions, the netizens were wiser this time and did not assume the question's requirements before they were mentioned. Since they had fallen for Zhang Yi's tricks previously, they just patiently waited for Zhang Yi to finish and announce the full question. The question requirement was posted. Question requirements: 1. Please state the power at which the old granny would fall to the ground at. 2. How much would the old granny demand as compensation? The netizens: power of the fall? How can a fall still be measured by power? How much in compensation? Like hell I know how much the old granny would want for compensation. At this moment, many of the netizens and examinees felt that they had been too naive. When they first saw Zhang Yi announcing the prizes, they still came overexcited, thinking that they would get a chance to scold Zhang Yi right to his face. However, when they gave it some thought now, they should have known what kind of a person Zhang Yi was. He was so wicked and sly, and the past experience would have told them that only Zhang Yi could give others a face smacking, not the other way around. Just looking at these questions, this fellow must have planned to not let them win from the very beginning. All of the questions were broken. I'm so angry that I could cry. How despicable. These questions are basically unsolvable. I was wondering why he would dare make such big claims. Zhang Yi, come out. No one was having any of this. Zhang Yi posted on Weibo, the questions have all been announced. Is there anyone who can answer them? I can relax my requirements a little. As long as someone can answer 3 out of the 4 questions correctly, I will pass him or her and award the prizes accordingly. That means that, other than the old granny demanding compensation question, as long as the other 3 questions are answered correctly, it is good enough for me. The netizens continued scolding. What the hell? Other than the essay which we can still write about, who could answer the other questions? These broken questions must not even have answers. The way I see it, you're just bullshitting us right now. That's right, this guy must have come up with the questions without thought. Even he couldn't answer them. That must be it. He even included something like Cybele? And Shena. What has this question got to do with the information that was included at the beginning? If you're so capable, tell us the correct answer. Otherwise, stop bullshitting us. Right, this question must be unsolvable. Zhang Yi is definitely trying to cheat us. Zhang Yi, you're too wicked. During the college entrance exam, you cheated our examinees. Now that the exam is over, you're trying to cheat us? Down with this guy. This broken question can only be thought up by someone like you. Stop using your brain power. What Zhang Yi's classroom? This is all just Zhang Yi making fun of us. The questions don't have answers, so let's not waste the effort to solve them. No one was trying to solve them anymore as all of them began scolding Zhang Yi on Weibo. After Zhang Yi waited for the longest time and no one came forward with an answer, he posted, "Who says that I am making fun of you all? Since I can give the question, of course there is an answer. Does anyone still want to give them a try?" The netizens found it both funny and annoying. Bullshit. What answers have you got? Her. Teacher Zhang, you're too stubborn. Then why don't you show us the answers? I still won't believe you. With the commotion becoming livelier, a lot of celebrities also came to observe. Yao Jiankai's Weibo, fuck, how is this a college entrance exam question? This is obviously a joke. A female singer's Weibo, do these questions really have answers? It must be a scam, right? No one disagreed. They all believed that Zhang Yi was using the questions to tell a joke. However, a minute later, Zhang Yi followed up with a post with the answers in it. For example, the third question, in the guise of an absurd situation, there is a geographical question that is packaged very nicely into it. Why? First off, the John would likely utter something in his native language in the midst of his panic. As such, the objective of the question was to find out where he was located. Then just where is this prostitution den located? We know that the angle of elevation of the North Star is also the latitude of the location, so we can say that the location is situated on the 38th parallel north of the equator. By looking at the answer options, B is Diu Leilum, which we clearly know it to be the dialect of Guangdong province. That location is situated somewhere around the 20th parallel north of the equator. We can safely exclude that answer because of that, while C is Nanxiangziso, which we note to be a dialect somewhere in Shanghai. Shanghai is based around the 31st parallel north of the equator, so that is clearly the wrong answer as well. Seeing the explanation by Zhang Yi regarding the answer, the netizens were all stunned. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Zhang Yi continued, the answer comes down to and D. Shen is a language from where? That is from the Shaanxi dialect, while Cybele is obviously from Korean. The problem now is that both Shaanxi and Korea are both located around the 38th parallel north of the equator, so we are unable to judge from the information we have on the latitude. Because of this, it won't be easy to solve, so what can we do? Well, there's still the longitude information. However, looking at the question, there is no such information given. What is given is that it is 6 p.m. Beijing time and the incident happened on the day of the vernal equinox. That given time was right during sunset in Beijing. Korea is located at the east of Beijing, so at 6 p.m., their skies are already dark, while Shaanxi is located at the west of Beijing and for them, the sun has not set yet. When Police Constable Zili raised his head, he could see the North Star. That would mean that it was no longer daytime, therefore the likelihood of the prostitution den being situated in Shaanxi can also be excluded. And with that, we arrive at the answer of D. Cybele. By the way, the usage of the Police Constable Zili was just a red herring. Some of you might have excluded the possibility of the foreign option in the answers because of it, but remember that there are also people with the last name of Lee in Korea. The answer was revealed. The netizens fell into a dead silence. Yao Jiankai was stunned. That female singer was stunned. The examinees were stunned. Zhang Yi, you've won. You've truly won. Chapter 718, a hardworking comic. Faced with such an answer from Zhang Yi, the netizens could only react with a fuck to express their feelings. I'm in the process of being dumbfounded. He actually solved it. Wow, you really had the answer. Awesome. I'm totally convinced. PFFT, me too, I'm convinced as well. I face-planted onto my keyboard because of laughing too much. Teacher Zhang is indeed Teacher Zhang. Even his way of teaching is unlike others. He is always so interesting and funny, even to the point of being wondrous. I thought he had invented those questions on the spot at the spur of the moment, but who knew that there were really answers to them? Just how bored did Teacher Zhang get? He must have been really bored to have been able to come up with questions like that. On top of that, he could even come up with such a goddamn logical answer to such a far-fetched question. I'm kneeling. Zhang Yi, I'm also kneeling to you. Teacher Zhang, you're too strong. No one in the world can stop that comedic march of yours. The netizen with post number 679 is right. Just how bored were you? The netizens fainted one by one. A few Peking University teachers had also appeared because of these questions. Dean Pan from the School of Mathematical Sciences on his Weibo. Suna from the Chinese department on her Weibo. The Chinese department's director Chang Kage's Weibo. These questions were typed out by Zhang Yi spontaneously without the need to use the memory search capsules. It wasn't because his memory was so good that he had them all memorized from his time in the previous world. Rather, during his time at the online television station, while working on his show Zhang Yi's Talk Show, Zhang Yi had made use of the memory search capsules to retrieve all the memories in regards to Tonight 80's Talk Show, Mr. Zhu Live Show, Bao's Big News Events, and other similar talk shows. He had already locked down that batch of memories, therefore he could pull up all those questions without needing to think. The questions he threw out here today were all questions from his previous world's Bao's Big News Events. If he had used them as the college entrance exam questions, there would definitely be some problems due to the impreciseness of the questions. But at the very least, it was enough for a good laugh that everyone could enjoy. On this matter, Zhang Yi's objective had been met. He only needed to be rigorous with regards to the college entrance exam questions, but now that the college entrance exam was over, if he still maintained that rigorous facade, then he was just going to bring more contempt upon himself. If he instead clowned around in an impromptu fashion, occasionally teasing others, it would help him improve his image a little and bring him back to being loved by the people. From the looks of it, it was working rather well. Teacher Zhang is still just as funny. Yeah, you're presenting a geography, physics question just like how you perform a crosstalk. I was one of those examinees tortured by Zhang Yi this year. The thing I hate most about him is that no matter how hard I try to hate him, I can't do it. Zhang Yi keeps adapting and keeps us laughing, so even if I want to scold him, I would be scolding him while laughing. Hi, I guess this is what Zhang Yi's individual style is, a hardworking comic. He includes his jokes in everything he says, in his shows, in his poems, and now even in his questions. I find myself liking Zhang Yi more and more. A comedic associate professor. Where there is Zhang Yi, there will not be a lack of doubt and scoldings, yet at the same time, there is also a lot of joy. He is truly the ideal entertainer of my heart. At this moment, some of the netizens started another commotion. What about the other questions? The answers to the other questions. That question with the flinging of feces, how do you solve that? However, just when Zhang Yi was about to announce the next question's answer, someone suddenly posted their own version of the answer in the comment section of Weibo. This answer immediately left everyone stunned, not because it was an exceptional answer but because most of them couldn't understand what was written. X-axis, Y-axis, differentials, and functions were all squeezed into the formulas, leaving people baffled but impressed by how amazing it looked. Damn, who was this person? Could someone really have solved it? Godly. Haha, how awesome. Has it been solved? Is the answer correct? When Zhang Yi saw it, he was also stunned for a moment, but then immediately gave it a like afterwards. Then, when he noticed the Hueco handle, he was stunned for another moment but recovered with a smile on his face as he came to a realization. That person's Weibo username was Lingalingpo. Intuitively, Zhang Yi guessed that this person was probably Huang Lingaling, the young girl he had met at Summer Palace during the International Math Olympiad. Then, Lingalingpo sent Zhang Yi a private message, "Teacher, did I get it correct?" Zhang Yi immediately replied, "Student Huang, you did well." "Student Huang?" Lingalingpo immediately replied with a horrified emoticon, How did you know that it was me?" "Teacher, you still remember me?" Zhang Yi sent her a smiley face, "I guessed. As for whether I remember you, I am not that forgetful yet. Has your brother also taken his college entrance exam?" "Huang Lingaling, he's taking it next year." "Zhang Yi, I've seen your math exam. You got a perfect score. You did great. You were the only examinee to get a perfect score in math. No one else managed to." Huang Lingaling, hee, "Thanks teacher, I will work even harder." Zhang Yi asked, "Where did you apply for your first choice?" Huang Lingaling replied without even thinking, "Peking University, of course. My greatest goal is to become your student, but I don't know if I will qualify for the school since I didn't do too well on my other subjects." "Zhang Yi, it's not going to be a problem. If you don't meet the admission cutoff score, come look for me. I will help arrange something for you." Huang Lingaling replied surprised, "Ah, really? Thank you, teacher." The Tier 1 scores had already been released, but the cutoff scores for Peking and Tsinghua University still didn't have clear distinctions. Sometimes, even if your score was very high, you might not be admitted into Peking or Tsinghua University. In other words, this meant that even if your score was not high, you might still be able to get admitted into Peking or Tsinghua University. For the other higher institutes of education, the cutoff score boundaries were very straightforward. For example, if a specific score qualified you for Beijing Normal University, or a range between one score and another allowed you to qualify for Renmin University, then as long as the application for your intended university was within the top two choices, there would be an automated ranking to assign you to the institution you applied for. However, for institutions like Peking or Tsinghua University, they had greater freedom, fewer restrictions, and the authority to conduct their own admissions exercises. They even had special recruitment spots with more space to maneuver and overwrite the processes. For instance, in the case of an examinee qualifying with enough points for their first choice of Beijing Normal University, the second choice university couldn't steal this student for their own institution nor would they have the chance to do so. However, the authority Peking and Tsinghua University wielded allowed them to do so under the same set of circumstances as long as the examinees agreed to it. This was the special authority that the country's top two educational institutes had, and it was exactly as unreasonable as it sounds. After a short conversation with Huang Lingaling and having chatted for a while with the other netizens, Zhang Yi successfully accomplished his mission of downplaying the scammer label the netizens had given to him and went offline. 719 An Independent Woman. Chapter 719, An Independent Woman. In the front yard of old Wu's house. Zhang Yi closed the browser. Wu Zeking's smiling eyes left the screen. "Those are the questions you gave?" "Ha." Zhang Yi looked at her. "They're not bad, right?" Old Wu nodded and said, "They're quite good." Zhang Yi said, "I still have a whole lot of such questions. Maybe when I'm in a better mood someday, I might hold another session like this. Even if it doesn't contribute much to my popularity compared to me filming TV shows, or writing some essays and poems, it could still gain me some fans. Do not look down on the smaller things." Old Wu laughed. "A thief does not leave empty-handed?" "What are you saying, a thief does not leave empty-handed?" Zhang Yi said, "I had nothing to do anyway, might as well use the opportunity to entertain everyone. If I didn't do things like that, would my popularity have risen so quickly? I'm already going quite far up the list of the B-list celebrity rankings, so my goal now is to aim for the A-list celebrity rankings. I'll just try to flex my muscles a little more to see if that would be a viable goal since The Voice has already given me quite a significant increase in my fame." Old Wu smiled. "If there's anything you need help with, just let me know." Zhang Yi gave a wave of his hands. "I won't trouble you. Why are you still being so polite?" Old Wu glanced at him. Zhang Yi sighed and explained, "It's not like that. You're now the deputy chief of the SARFT and overseeing the entire entertainment circle, so all the more I can't receive any help from you. It will be difficult for you to answer to administration. And if anyone finds out, they might start talking behind your back too. Besides, I'm not in any trouble now anyways. As long as no one is deliberately trying to pull me down or ban me, I'll definitely be fine in the entertainment circle. Who can stop me? What he said was really reasonable. This guy was now famous for being a stubborn and unreasonable person in both the entertainment circle and education world. Old Wu smiled and said, I'm not afraid of people gossiping behind my back, nor will there be any gossips either. If there's anything you need help with, just tell me. Don't forget, you're my boyfriend now, right? Zhang Yi corrected her, not only now, I still will be in the future. Old Wu nodded. Yes, in the future as well. I like hearing that. Zhang Yi smiled. Okay, don't worry that I'll be too courteous to you. If I feel that there's anything I need your help with, I will surely let you know. But most of the time, I should be able to handle any problems on my own. There won't be a need for such a high-ranking official to show her authority. Besides, if those foes of mine from the entertainment circle know that you're my girlfriend, who would still want to challenge me? I wouldn't have anyone to entertain me at that time. Without them looking for a fight, I would be bored as hell. Don't you know that my popularity so far was all because of duking it out with those people? In the entertainment circle, the partners of the celebrities were always these few categories. 1. Business persons, tycoons, or wealthy women and affluent second generations. 2. Fellow celebrities of similar fame. 3. Industry outsiders, usually with some status or background. A majority of the partners of celebrities fell in those three categories. Even if there are exceptions, they are only in the small minority. However, for Zhang Yi to have found someone who was the leader of the SARFT, and not just a low-level leader, but the deputy chief of the SARFT, that was basically an exception of exceptions in this case. If this news were leaked, probably no one would have believed it. Actually, even Zhang Yi found it unbelievable and felt like this was a dream when he gave it the occasional thought. Old Wu gently laughed. You're addicted to the fighting? It's not like that. They're always going against me, so how can I not fight back? It's not my style to just stay quiet. Zhang Yi said happily, that's why, as time passes, I even begin to feel uneasy if no industry peers scold me. It's like I'm asking for it, don't you think? It's all because of those people that I've become this way. It's common to have such ongoing feuds. It's also necessary. The show you came up with recently is very good. Old Wu said, I've watched The Voice and heard the staff at the SARF talking about it privately too. Many of them are watching this show right now and have very good things to say about it. Zhang Yi nodded in acknowledgement. Including all those poems, songs, stories, novels, and TV shows, this is by far my best work, and is also the most popular. Old Wu asked, what will you do when The Voice ends? Zhang Yi replied, I've not thought of that yet. Maybe when the time comes I'll know better. Old Wu said, will it go straight to the second season? Zhang Yi said, that won't happen. The second season has to be at least a year later. If the time between the seasons is too short, the show's branding will be affected. That doesn't help its long-term development and sustainability. The two of them spent quite a long time just talking about their job problems. As Wu Zaking was the head of the SARFT, she had insight into the most accurate news and data statistics of the entertainment industry. Naturally, Old Wu's general suggestions to Zhang Yi were also the most reliable. For example, the future policy's inclination for the variety show industry, or the current trend of the overall television show industry. All these information helped Zhang Yi gain a better understanding of this market. Even the information on some of the SARFT's major policies for the television industry which had not been implemented yet was not held back from Zhang Yi by Old Wu. In the entire television industry, the number of people who could get information on unimplemented policies was probably only Zhang Yi, and only he alone could get such favorable treatment. As they said, a great tree would provide the best shade. The more he spent time with Old Wu, the more Zhang Yi realized he liked her. It was not because of the fact that Old Wu could help him, as Zhang Yi was never the type who liked receiving help. Whatever he did, he would usually only do whatever was within his means. Things he couldn't handle, he would just not take on. He hardly ever asked for help with problems. This was all down to his personality and habits. This was just the type of person he was. The thing he liked most about Old Wu was that no matter what he did, she would support him 100% as long as it did not deviate from her principles. She would also encourage him and use her more mature and experienced viewpoint to analyze and suggest advice to him. Not only did she help Zhang Yi a lot in his decision-making process, the more important factor was actually the psychological one. With a girlfriend who spared no effort in supporting him from behind, what more could he ask for? Old Wu might not know how to act spoiled, wasn't she the romantic type, and didn't play the little lady role. However, she was the kind of woman who would drag you back onto the correct path if you deviated from your original goals, lift you up when you were down, plant you back firmly on the ground should you get too proud, and encourage and support you on your way to success. She was someone you couldn't find anywhere else in the world even if you tried your hardest. Zhang Yi didn't know what he had done in his previous life to deserve such a woman who became his girlfriend. When all was said and done, a woman's inner beauty was still the most important. Does being beautiful make you any more useful? Would long legs help? What about large breasts? Zhang Yi pondered over this for a moment. Alright, well, those are pretty important too. 720 Tsinghua and Peking University fight over the students. Chapter 720, Tsinghua and Peking University fight over the students. The next day. Sunday morning. In the guest room of Old Wu's house, Zhang Yi lay in bed sleeping, snoring loudly. Yesterday night, he had discussed with Old Wu many topics regarding calligraphy and even made a few pieces. When it got late, Zhang Yi decided to stay over, though he didn't intend to leave in the first place. It wasn't easy to have matched his schedule to Old Wu's days off, so Zhang Yi definitely wanted to spend more time with her. At 8 a.m. Are you up? Wu Zeking came into the guest room from outside. When Zhang Yi heard her voice, he opened his eyes. Old Wu. Old Wu said, let's go downstairs and have something to eat. I've already prepared breakfast. What time is it now? Zhang Yi asked. 8 o'clock, Old Wu said, dressed in her nightie. It's only 8? Let me lie down a little longer. Zhang Yi drowsily stayed under the covers and yawned twice in succession. I don't know why I've been so tired for the past few days. Old Wu smiled. Then do you want to eat? Zhang Yi smacked his lips together. Of course. Why wouldn't I want to eat the food you've cooked? Old Wu said, then shall I bring them up to have in bed? Aye, that sounds great. Zhang Yi felt extremely pampered. If he were at his parents' house or the rented apartment and dared to make such a request, he would surely be given a good beating. However, at his girlfriend's house, Zhang Yi was clearly enjoying his days being treated like a young master, waited upon with great care. Soon after, Old Wu carried the tray into the room. Here, eat it while it's still warm. It won't be as good once it turns cold. She bent over and pulled aside a grandfather clock, then proceeded to place the tray on the bedside table beside Zhang Yi. When she did that, Old Wu's nightie drooped down at her chest and revealed something for a second. Zhang Yi did not purposely wait for this, but subconsciously turned his sight towards her nightie's neckline. He took in a view of a pair of jiggling white and nude-colored bra with dark undertones. Within a second, Old Wu stood straight up again and Zhang Yi couldn't see anymore, leaving him itching for more. If only there wasn't a bra. Just tell me, which bastard invented that lousy thing called a bra? What the hell was it good for? Where was the most basic level of trust between people? Have you eaten yet, Old Wu? Not yet. Then let's eat together. Yes. Wu Zeking pulled over a chair and sat beside him. Zhang Yi was sitting up on the bed, staying under the covers as he ate from the side of the bed. With every bite, he remarked on how good it was. He was full of praise for the breakfast Old Wu had prepared, not flattering her but rather because it was truly delicious. Old Wu's culinary skill was surely not just a level or two above his mother's. Staying at your place for 2 days has surely made this bro gain 5 kilos. Old Wu asked, you're not going to work today? Zhang Yi nodded. I have the next few days off. Peking University should be recruiting students soon. How was it this year? Are there many good students? Old Wu asked while slowly chewing her food. Zhang Yi took a pork with scallions bun Old Wu had steamed and said, the admission cutoff score for Peking University hasn't been announced yet, but they should have started the recruitment already. The top scorers should be quite difficult to recruit, so they must have taken preemptive action already, but I'm not too sure about those details. I do not have a role at Peking University since I'm still suspended and haven't been back to the school yet. Old Wu said, regarding your suspension, I'll ask around for you later. Don't worry about that, Zhang Yi said indifferently. I'm fine with it as is, so just let nature take its course. Even if I were reinstated now, I might not have the time to go back to teaching. There's still enough things to keep me busy with On the Voice, and after that I have to think about the next show. After breakfast, Zhang Yi suddenly remembered something. Seeing that Old Wu had gone downstairs to do the dishes, he took out his cell phone and made a call to Dean Pan of Peking University. Hello, Dean Pan? Has the admission cutoff grade been released yet? Dean Pan, it's not out yet, but it should be out any time now. There's probably going to be some fluctuation. What about it? Zhang Yi laughed. It's like this. Do you know Huang Lingling? Huang Lingling? Dean Pan said, the examinee who had a perfect score on the Beijing math section? Zhang Yi said, yes. That girl might not have done too well on her other subjects, and I'm afraid we might miss out on a good student if she doesn't qualify for Peking University. Dean Pan suddenly said, "Don't worry about that. She won't slip through the net. The student recruitment team has already gone to meet with the top scorers of the exam, and Huang Lingling's name is also on that list." "Alright then, I understand." After hanging up, Zhang Yi got up from bed and went downstairs to look for old Wu to talk. Meanwhile, in the outside world, this year's student recruitment began and immediately spread like wildfire. Peking University's student recruitment team had been established early on. Like in previous years, Peking University had activated many student recruitment staff members and resources and cast their net out to various key focus schools and the homes of the examinees. Most of the student recruitment teams were made up of female teachers and staff. It was still in line with the previous year's approach policy, in which they would play the emotions card to appeal to the examinees. If and when necessary, they could promise the examinees scholarships and other preferential treatments. Suna was a member of the Peking University student recruitment team this time. On this morning, she had come alone to a small district in Changsai. She went upstairs to the apartment building and knocked on a door. The door opened, revealing a middle-aged woman who had come to answer it. Suna gently smiled and said, "You must be Auntie Song?" That woman asked, "You are?" Suna said, "I am from the Peking University student recruitment team. I contacted you last night over the phone." "Oh, your teacher Su," the woman spoke very politely. Suna looked into the house and smiled. "Is little Chen around? I would like to chat with him." The woman looked a little embarrassed. "My son, some of the Tsinghua University teachers just came over to pick him up." Suna was stunned. "Didn't we make an appointment yesterday?" The woman said apologetically, "I'm so sorry, Teacher Su. I wanted my son to wait for you as well, but the two recruitment teachers from Tsinghua University had arrived at my place at 6 in the morning. They insisted on taking my son away with them. It felt a little forced, but my son and I don't want to offend anyone, so..." Suna was flustered. Tsinghua. Elsewhere. Number 4 High School. Han Henian from Peking University's math department had just led his team here when he was stopped by the security guards and 2 of the school's teachers at the gates. The security guard asked, "What are you all doing here?" Han Henian got out of the car. "Hello, we're from the Peking University student recruitment team. We would like to speak to your students, Zhang Zipeng and Su Zhao, for a while. Could you please open the gates for us?" The teachers from number 4 high school stared at them. "It's our students' graduation ceremony today and we're having an assembly right now. You all can come back in the afternoon." A female staff member from the student recruitment team said, "We'll just be having a quick chat with those 2 students and will not disrupt the graduation ceremony. We're doing this for the future of the students, aren't we?" The number 4 high school teacher gave a wave of his hands impatiently. "Not today, please go back." It didn't seem like their team could get through to this school's teachers. In the end, Han Henian and the others could only park their cars on the side of the road and wait there. The 2 students they wanted to meet today were the 6th and 11th place scorers of this year's Beijing College entrance examination. Peking University had already indicated that those 2 students must be recruited no matter what. Han Henian also had his eyes on the student named Zhang Zipeng, as he was just 5 marks short of a perfect score in the mathematics exam. He was not only strong in math, all his other subject exams nearly scored full marks as well. That was the reason why Han Henian personally had come down today to see if he could persuade him to become their student. After waiting for quite a while, the security guards were still unwilling to let them in. Suddenly, a small sedan car drove over and stopped at the gate for a moment before being allowed to enter the school grounds. Han Henian and his team thought that this might be a car belonging to the school or a school teacher and thus did not pay much attention to it. But after around 15 minutes, when this car reappeared and drove out, one of the eagle-eyed female teachers suddenly let out a scream. "It's Zhang Zipeng and Su Zhao. Ah. They've been taken away. Was that Tsinghua University's old Su sitting in the passenger seat?" Several members of the Peking University student recruitment team suddenly realized what was going on and immediately went up to the people from number 4 high school to ask, "What's that about? Didn't you say that no one could enter because of the graduation ceremony?" That teacher from number 4 high school plausibly retorted, "The assembly is over, so they could enter." Han Henian raged. "You!" They finally understood that the student recruitment team from Tsinghua University had colluded with some of the teachers from number 4 high school. They denied all entry to the Peking University student recruitment team so that they wouldn't have a chance to talk to the exam's top scorers. The same thing happened at number 8 high school. A press conference was being held at number 8 high school today because their school had produced a top scholar, along with 5 other students ranked within the top 100 scores of this year's Beijing College entrance exam. There was also a student who had defied all logic and scored full marks on the Beijing mathematics exam, the only one to do so in all of Beijing. Naturally, the press conference attracted a lot of people, such as newspaper reporters, people from TV stations, parents of examinees, as well as the student recruitment teams from Peking and Tsinghua University who were poised to attack. Once the press conference was over, 4 male teachers from the Tsinghua University student recruitment team rushed forward. One of those teachers was from this year's Beijing College Entrance Examinations question-setting team, the teacher who had a conflict with Zhang Yi and competed with him in a poetry contest, Liao Qi. Student Huang Lingaling, we're from Tsinghua University. Student Zhizheng, let's have a chat. Our car is waiting outside and the Tsinghua University professors are already waiting for you at the school. Let's chat about your aspirations. Several of those top scorers were suddenly surrounded by the people from Tsinghua University's student recruitment team. The Peking University student recruitment team had only sent 3 teachers, 1 in her 40s and 2 in their 20s. They were also all female teachers, so couldn't shove aside the Tsinghua team. They could only stand frozen on the outside of the crowd. A female teacher from Peking University said furiously, "What are you guys trying to do? Huang Lingaling and Zhu Zheng's first choice is our Peking University. What has it got to do with you people from Tsinghua?" Tsinghua University's Professor Liao Qi looked at her coldly. "Everyone has a chance. Are there any rules that state that if they filled in Peking University as their first choice at the start that they must definitely go to Peking University? We have to respect the examinees' choices." Having said that, they pulled both Huang Lingaling and Zhu Zheng aside and walked out of the school. Make way, make way." While Huang Lingaling was being pulled away, she said alarmed, I've already applied for Peking University." A Tsinghua University male teacher pointed at Liao Qi and said, "That is Professor Liao from our institution. Professor Liao has come personally to pick you two up, so that clearly shows how sincere we are. Your filled-in intentions are not important for now. As long as you are willing to join Tsinghua University, we can accept you. Let's go. We'll chat once we're at Tsinghua University. There will be teachers there to explain to you two in detail." Huang Lingaling anxiously said, "I really don't want to go, The 3 female teachers from Peking University said in anger, "Is this even respecting the wishes of the examinees?" When the reporters saw that the teachers from Peking University and Tsinghua University fighting, they all looked at each other with some surprise. They had not expected that this year's competition for the top scorers would be this intense. In previous years, the top 2 institutions in the country had always played the emotions card. It had always been so in recent years as well. No one had expected Tsinghua University to change to such a strong-arm tactic this year, totally foregoing the emotional side of things. They even mostly sent in their bigger and physically stronger male teachers for this specific reason, to physically get the top scorers back to the university first above all else. This tactic caught the Peking University student recruitment teams off guard. The Peking University female teachers shouted, "They are our students." Liao Qi stared coldly at them. "Go away." The Peking University female teachers said, "Are you guys still being reasonable here?" The male teachers of Tsinghua University did not bother with them and just continued pulling the students out of the crowd. The teachers of number 8 high school were all dumbfounded. They did not know whether they should intervene in the situation or not, but they were totally helpless to do anything about the situation. 721 Zhang Yi shows up. Chapter 721, Zhang Yi shows up. Online. The news headlines were spreading all over the internet. Tsinghua and Peking University fight over student recruitment. Clashes at various key focus schools in Beijing over student recruitment. Peking and Tsinghua University caught in shocking hand-to-hand combat. Tsinghua University initiates public plundering of exams' top scorers. There were many photos posted together with the headlines. The ferocious expressions of the Tsinghua University teachers could be seen as they blocked the Peking University student recruitment teachers. The innocent and lost faces of the exam's top scorers could also be seen. Right now, it was at the critical juncture of the student recruitment after the college entrance exam. Reporters from the media and the entire society were all focused on it. When the news headlines were published, they immediately gained a strong reaction from the people. Another fight over the examinees? Why did they get into a physical conflict this year? It was never so intense in the previous years. Tsinghua University has changed from their usual tactics this year and come out in full force for the attack? The top scholar of the Beijing college entrance exam and the top 10 scorers have more or less been taken away by Tsinghua University's people? If they have them picked up and brought over to Tsinghua University's school grounds, then the outcome is already determined. Once the examinees falter a little and give them their word, Peking University will be unable to do a thing about it. Tsinghua University's movements were too swift. They were really aggressive. Peking University will surely suffer a great loss this time. It was always a veiled strife between them every year, but now it has become an open rivalry. Why doesn't the Ministry of Education do something about this toxic behavior? Since those top scorers had already applied for Peking University, why is Tsinghua University still trying to take them away? This isn't how they should be behaving. Hey, who cares about them? They're both top institutions in the country. This is like a fight between the gods. Peking University mainly sent female recruitment teachers this year, so in terms of physical strength, they're definitely not a match for the Tsinghua University male recruitment teachers. Perhaps Peking University had not expected Tsinghua University to resort to such strong-arm tactics. The news led to countless discussions about the incident. Every year, the top scorers would be subjected to the contention between these two institutions, but it had never been like this year when all decorum was abandoned. Many of the common folk who saw this found it to be a strange and new sight. Even teachers from Beijing Normal University, Renmin University, Nanjing University, and other higher institutions were observing the commotion privately. This incident had really kicked up quite a big fuss this time. Old Wu's residents, Zhang Yi and Wu Zeking, also saw the news. Tsinghua and Peking University fought. Zhang Yi said in a speechless manner. Even though he was in a different world now, some things just didn't change. Just like the incident that was happening now, it had also happened on more than one occasion back in Zhang Yi's previous world. Just to get a few students to join them, does it call for such behavior? Old Wu said, indeed it does. Zhang Yi looked at Old Wu and remembered that she was previously the vice president of Peking University. When you were at Peking University, did you guys fight over the exam's top scores every year as well? Old Wu shook her head. We don't call that fighting. It's just recruitment. There are student recruitment teachers assigned to speak to those top scores every year. Tsinghua University does the same, but it looks like they're overdoing it this year. If they continue doing it this way, there's really going to be trouble soon. Zhang Yi glanced at her for a moment. He knew that even though Old Wu was no longer in her post as the school's vice president, she still had Peking University's considerations at heart. After all, she had worked there for many years and surely would have developed some feelings for the institution. Will Peking University be able to handle it? Old Wu said, I don't know. Zhang Yi blinked. Then, Old Wu smiled at him. Why don't you go take a look? Zhang Yi answered, but I've already been suspended, so it wouldn't be suitable to show myself there. I don't have the status to do so either. Besides, I believe that Peking University can definitely handle the situation. Old Wu giggled and passed him her cell phone, which had the news page open on its browser. The news reports say that even the student who got a perfect score on this year's Beijing math exam was taken away by Tsinghua University. Huang Lingling? Zhang Yi was stunned, then got irritated, which soon turned to outrage. Fuck them to their second granny. How dare they try to steal my student? Having said that, Zhang Yi immediately grabbed his car keys and said, Old Wu, I'll be back for lunch. I just need to go out for a while. Fuck their mother's cunt. Old Wu said, you've become a professor, be a bit more civil. Zhang Yi said angrily, why should I be civil? They're pushing it too far. In the blink of an eye, Zhang Yi had driven off furiously in his BMW X5 and charged out of the villa's grounds. Wu Zeking could only helplessly shake her head at this. Outside number 8 high school, the college entrance exam's top scholar and the others, including Huang Lingling from number 8 high school, had been shoved into the cars reluctantly, with Liao Qi in one of the front passenger seats as both cars drove off. The group of female teachers from Peking University ran up to give chase. Stop right there. How can they do that? Isn't that bullying? If it's not bullying, then what is? Follow them. The Peking University female recruitment teachers were incredibly outraged by this behavior. They got into their cars to chase after them. While they relentlessly pursued the Tsinghua University cars, they made a call back to the student recruitment team coordinators for assistance. Hello, Chief. Little Who, how's it going on your side? You all have to secure the recruitment of the top scorers over at number 8 high school. Tsinghua University has been behaving too outrageously this year. They've already taken a number of the top scorers with them, so you all must definitely our targets were taken away as well. What? We're chasing them at the moment. It looks like they're already heading back to Tsinghua University. I understand, I will get something arranged. The Tsinghua University cars were leading the chase with Peking University's cars behind them. They were later joined by 6 or 7 vehicles from the media that followed behind very closely. When it involved such big news, the media naturally wouldn't want to miss out. 20 minutes later, at Tsinghua University's main entrance, Liao Qi was just arriving with his team in their car after turning a corner, but immediately saw that the entrance was blocked off by quite a number of cars. They were blocked off from entering and could only come to a stop right outside the entrance. There were more than a dozen cars lined up outside the entrance, including some from Peking University and others from Tsinghua University. Without an exception, they were all from the student recruitment teams of both schools. About 15 minutes before this, when the Tsinghua University student recruitment team's teachers went around snapping up the examinees, Peking University was carrying out their response. Since both schools were very close to each other, only taking several minutes to travel between each other by car, the chief of the Peking University student recruitment teams made a prompt decision to stand guard outside the different entrances to Tsinghua University. When the teachers from the Tsinghua University student recruitment teams arrived, the people from Peking University immediately got out of their cars and stopped them right in their tracks. The entire place was chaos. Tsinghua University, make way. Do you intend to create trouble here? Peking University, let the students go. Tsinghua University, what? Are you trying to take them away? Peking University, just who are the ones stealing here? Are you people from Tsinghua University so unreasonable? Tsinghua University, blocking our school's entrance, who are the ones being unreasonable here? If you don't make way, I'll have to call the police. The student recruitment teams have always competed fairly. If you don't have the capability to invite the students over, then are you resorting to blocking our entrance? Peking University, if this was a fair competition, we wouldn't have done this and just kept quiet. But was it? You came straight out and snatched the students from us, dragging them away by force. You even resorted to using their relationships as bargaining chips, promising to arrange a good school for their love interests. How do you call that a fair competition? It's totally unheard of. Most of the top scorers were snatched away, while a few top scorers whose parents had informed Peking University that the Tsinghua University recruitment teachers had used the examinees' love interests as bargaining chips, promising a lot of things, and then forcefully taking them away. There were even 2 examinees who were poised to have a meeting with the Peking University recruitment teachers, but were intercepted by the Tsinghua University recruitment teachers who went to their homes, and persuaded their parents to ask the examinees to go to Tsinghua University's campus instead. Although the Tsinghua University teachers meant no harm to the examinees, how was this different from kidnapping them? It wasn't far-fetched to say that they had resorted to unscrupulous means. The 2 groups of student recruitment teachers began to provoke each other the moment they met. Old Shu, aren't you ashamed of what you guys have done? Say that again. I dare you to say that again. If you dared to do it, why am I not allowed to criticize you? The reporters arrived at this time and got out of their vehicles quickly. Even with the presence of all these reporters around them, the student recruitment teachers from Peking and Tsinghua University did not take a step back and continued arguing. In one of the cars, Huang Lingaling anxiously said, "Teacher, I've already spoken with the Peking University teachers. Can I leave first?" Liaoqi turned around to assure her, "Don't worry, student Lingaling. We at Tsinghua University will give you the best treatment, definitely much better than Peking University. The scholarship is just part of the terms we will be offering. As for anything else you wish to request, you can just bring it up when the time comes and we can discuss it." Having said that, he opened the door and got out of the car. Then he lowered his head to tell the other student recruitment teacher who was the driver, "It's quite a mess out there. Don't scare the children. Keep the car doors locked." The Tsinghua University student recruitment teacher nodded and locked the doors. Huang Lingaling became even more anxious now. The other 3 exams top scorers from number 8 high school were also in a dilemma. Faced with the Tsinghua University teachers, they did not dare offend them, so they kept quiet. Suna of Peking University arrived in her car at this moment. She saw 7 or 8 cars belonging to the Tsinghua University student recruitment teams also parked there. Inside those cars were the top scorers of this year's college entrance exam, including the examinee she had made an appointment with yesterday but who was taken away this morning by one of Tsinghua University's teachers. Suna initially thought that only herself and a small group of teachers had their examinees taken away, but who could have thought that the same thing had happened to more than 20 of the exam's top scorers. All of them were within this year's top 30 scores of the college entrance exam, the most excellent group of talents which had been filtered out by the examination. All of them were now held inside Tsinghua University cars. Each year, the competition between Tsinghua and Peking University had always been closely matched. For some specializations like the Chinese department, Peking University was the more attractive choice to the students while Tsinghua University had other specializations which were more attractive over Peking University's. Overall, both institutions were very evenly matched, but Peking University probably still stood out a little more. However, with the situation now, almost all of the top 30 scores of the Beijing college entrance examination were invited over by Tsinghua University to their campus. This was obviously an unusual situation. When Suna and Liaoqi met face to face, she immediately asked, "Professor Liao, isn't Tsinghua University going overboard this time?" Liaoqi said coldly, "It's all based on ability, what's there to be overboard about? Our specializations are more attractive than yours, so naturally the examinees would prefer to join Tsinghua University." Behind them was a female teacher from Peking University who also knew Liao Qi and was old friends with him, often chatting whenever they met. However, as of today, all friendship was cast aside because Tsinghua University's actions had infuriated the student recruitment teachers from Peking University. She said, Peking University's Chinese department is the #1 department in the entire country, and you're talking about this place being more attractive? Liao Qi gave a cold smile. But you only just got first place this year, isn't that right? The Peking University female teacher in her 40s said, even if it was last year or the year before that, Tsinghua University's Chinese department still cannot compare. Suddenly, a woman walked out slowly from Tsinghua University's main entrance. When she heard that, she laughed and said, do you mean to say that Tsinghua University only has the Chinese department to represent them? That person was Xinya. Professor Xin. Professor Xin. Several of the Tsinghua University teachers turned to look at her. Xinya was from the Mathematics Association and also one of the most well-known young mathematicians in the country. Back at Summer Palace during the International Math Olympiad, Zhang Yi had met her. She was old Wu's childhood friend and they had a great relationship. Later on, Zhang Yi met her another few times. They couldn't be considered strangers anymore. Xinya actually wasn't a Tsinghua University teacher. She was now affiliated with a research facility and was leading her own team in research projects. However, many years back, Xinya had graduated from Tsinghua University's math department, so of course she still had deep ties with her alma mater. For this year's student recruitment, Tsinghua University's dean of the math department, who was also her teacher during her student days, had approached Xinya to use her name in the mathematics world to attract more of the exam's top scorers into joining them. Xinya was waiting inside Tsinghua University's campus all this while. When she heard that the examinees were all held up outside the main entrance, she came outside to take a look. Let's compete with our math departments, shall we? Several of the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers were bolstered by her appearance. That's right. Why don't we compete with our math and physics departments? Actually, Peking University's math department was also one of the top few in the country, and had ranked first on many an occasion. However, they had been declining in recent times, and with Tsinghua University recently recruiting 5 very well-known mathematicians as professors emeriti of the school, Peking University's glory days had become a thing of the past. Tsinghua University's math department had completely gotten the upper hand on Peking University in their qualities of math. They were basically showing off, since they knew the students could see and hear everything they were talking about right now. The final decision in choosing which school to join was still down the examinees themselves, so there was definitely a need to showcase the most excellent aspects of their school. Xinya's words stumped many of the Peking University student recruitment teachers. Xinya laughed. What? Why aren't you all saying anything? However, it was right at this moment, when no one took notice, that a majestic BMW had parked at the side of the road. The door opened and a young man stepped out of his car. As he headed straight for the center of the commotion, he bluntly said, did I just hear someone saying that they wanted to compete with our Peking University's math and physics departments? Alright then. Who wants to compete? When everyone heard this young man's voice, the first thought they had was that this person was too arrogant, the second thought was that he too proud of himself. But when everyone turned their heads to look at him, they could only gasp in surprise. Suna was very happy to see him. Teacher Zhang. The Peking University student recruitment teachers also cheered. It's Zhang Yi. Professor Zhang is here. Teacher Zhang, these people from Tsinghua University are really taking it too far. Among the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers, there was an associate professor and a full professor in Xinya. But for the Peking University student recruitment teachers, they were all just made up of ordinary staff members, with more than half of them not even teachers, just support staff. Those who were teachers weren't tenured professors or such. They were just young and ordinary teachers since Peking University had not arranged for any professors to be on the student recruitment teams in the first place. That was why when Zhang Yi, who was a Peking University associate professor, came along, the student recruitment teachers seemingly found a support pillar and reacted like they had spotted a family member. 722 Rage Smash. Chapter 722, Rage Smash. Zhang Yi had arrived. At once, the Peking University student recruitment team's morale immediately shot up. All of them knew that Zhang Yi had been suspended long ago due to the scolding incident involving the foreign dignitaries, but a suspension did not mean that he was fired. Speaking of which, Peking University had still kept Zhang Yi's role active all this while during his suspension. His concurrent posting as a lecturer in both the math and Chinese departments did not change, and except for a few teachers in Peking University he had clashed with before, all of the Peking University teachers and students still regarded him as one of their own. Even Han Henian from Peking University's math department, who had clashed with Zhang Yi before and did not like him much, had dropped all his biases against him at this moment. Since one of the examinees he had his eye on and whom he wanted to take as his student was stolen by Tsinghua University, he knew that they needed to stand united against the common enemy. The Peking University student recruitment teachers were inspired. In contrast, the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers' expressions changed. Around them, all the reporters immediately had glints shining in their eyes. Zhang Yi had arrived, and wherever he appeared, there would surely be news. Everyone knew of his short temper, so if he was here, then there was no need to even ask. There would surely be trouble today. Xinye stared at him. Zhang Yi arrived at the center of the commotion. He looked at Xinye. Professor Xin, I seem to have heard you saying that Tsinghua University wanted to compete in the field of math and physics with Peking University? Xinye. Everyone from Peking University immediately echoed this. That's right. Who's afraid of whom? Whomever wants to compete with us, come. Just half a minute ago, it was the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers who were creating the commotion. However, in the blink of an eye, it was now time for the Peking University student recruitment teachers to fight back. Xinye nearly died of anger there and then. The people of Tsinghua University also looked worse than the next. Compete in the field of math and physics? You even solved a world-class mathematical conjecture, so who the fuck could compete with you? A student recruitment teacher from Tsinghua University said, you perform exceptionally well in math, but that's your personal achievement and has nothing to do with the standard of Peking University's math department. Suna said, this is the first time I've heard of such twisted logic. Teacher Zhang is a teacher of Peking University, so his ability in math would of course be integrated into our Peking University's math standard as well. How can you say it has nothing to do with Peking University? Another Peking University female recruitment teacher echoed, if we're talking about having no relation to the school, then it must be Professor Xin whose work has nothing to do with Tsinghua University. Her work is not with Tsinghua University, so what are you all showing off for? A Tsinghua University teacher rebutted, Professor Xin was a student of Tsinghua University. The teachers of Peking University, and teacher Zhang is an associate professor of Peking University. Both groups of people started arguing even spiritedly, but Peking University had clearly gained the momentum and was out-arguing those people from Tsinghua University. Meanwhile, the student recruitment teachers from Tsinghua University could only muster random retorts against them. In the field of mathematics education, when faced with Zhang Yi, they clearly did not have enough backing them for an argument. Xinye was in low spirits. She stared at Zhang Yi and said, Professor Zhang, what's the meaning of this hostility? Zhang Yi threw his hands into the air. I don't mean anything, but I did hear someone claim that our Peking University's math department doesn't compare with Tsinghua University's, so I can't take that lying down. The math department in Peking University has always been in the top 2 in the country, and the quality of our teachers is as real as it gets. Why is it that when the claims came out of your mouth, it sounded like our Peking University math department was inferior to yours? Because of Wu Zeking, Zhang Yi's relationship with Xinye was still considered alright, however, what was private should remain private and Zhang Yi understood this very well. Besides, can you tell me what's happening here? He pointed to those cars with the top scores from the college entrance exam. When enemies met, old wounds would be opened. Liao Qi from Tsinghua University's Chinese department came forward. What's the matter? Do we owe you an explanation? Get your cars that are blocking our school's entrance out of here. Immediately. Xinye added, when the examinees leave Tsinghua University's campus, you guys can do whatever you want, but for now, they have chosen Tsinghua University and are here to talk to our school about their preferences. What right do you have to interfere with that? A Tsinghua University personnel said, move. Otherwise I will call the police. Han Henian said with annoyance, you guys resorted to dirty tricks to snatch the examinees away and you still want to report us to the police? Teacher Han, you better watch what you say in front of all these students. A youth from the Tsinghua University group said, who resorted to dirty tricks. Huh? Suna thundered, did the students really come along with you willingly? Liao Qi said coldly, how was it not willing? At this time, they could see that in one of the Tsinghua University cars, Huang Lingling was desperately thumping on the rear windshield. She had obviously spotted Zhang Yi and wanted to get out from the car. Han Henian pointed to Huang Lingling and said, is that what willing looks like to you? Zhang Yi did not bother with this nonsensical conversation any longer. He stared straight at Xinye. Professor Xin, I'll make it short. Open the car doors and I will take those students who applied for Peking University as their first choice institution with me. Liao Qi flatly refused, impossible. Suna was infuriated. Those are the students who applied for Peking University. You people are taking this too far. Zhang Yi's proposed actions were not overboard whatsoever, and were even said in consideration of Xinye's position. He had put it this way because the examinees who had filled in Peking University as their first choice institution belonged to them in the first place. But no one could have expected that the Tsinghua University student recruitment team would not agree to it, straining the situation even further. Not only did they not intend to leave any students for Peking University, they also intended to ruthlessly end Peking University's chances of recruiting them. Huang Lingaling was still thumping on a rear windshield, saying something that could not be heard due to her being locked inside the car and a street noise on the outside. Tsinghua University's student recruitment team also knew that the exam's top scorers in the cars would likely end up choosing Peking University, especially those who filled in Peking University as their first choice institution. But for everyone they could convince to join them, it was one more student for Tsinghua University. It would still be a net gain for them if they could get just one student to join them, therefore they did not want to bother listening to what the Peking University student recruitment team had to say right now. If we don't let the students go with you people, what can you all do about it? However, at the next moment, an unexpected event happened. No one could have imagined it. Zhang Yi asked for the final time, so you won't let them out, right? Liao Qi sneered. The teachers of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team ignored him as well. Zhang Yi nodded, and then strode over with large strides, walking past Liao Qi and headed towards the car Huang Lingaling was in. He was taking very large strides and many of those around could not react in time. When Liao Qi realized this, he immediately grabbed Zhang Yi by the shoulders. What are you doing? Go away. Then an amazing sight occurred. Zhang Yi did not even move his arm, just slightly adjusted his shoulders before straightening them again. It was just a slight movement of his shoulders, but Liao Qi, who had his hand on Zhang Yi's shoulder, suddenly felt something in his arms. In that moment, Liao Qi's expression turned to shock as his whole body backpedaled and he tumbled backwards dramatically. Finally, he lost his balance and crashed down near the curb. The Tsinghua University people reacted instantaneously. Professor Liao. Zhang Yi. How dare you hit our people? What the hell? Zhang. You. The Peking University student recruitment teachers were also dumbfounded. But this was just the beginning. Zhang Yi did not even look at Liao Qi, who was lying on the ground, and went straight to the front of the car Huang Lingaling was in. He pulled at the handle to open it but realized it was locked. The Tsinghua University driver stared callously at Zhang Yi, not intending to unlock the doors at all. Zhang Yi turned around and checked the roadside. Then he walked slowly to the side of the road where he bent down and picked up half a slab of brick which just happened to be there. He turned around again. Surrounded by the audible gasps of all gathered, he smashed the brick on the driver's side window of the car. Bang! The loud sound left everyone there stunned. The Tsinghua University driver in the car was scared out of his wits. Bang! Another smash. Bang! A third smash. Zhang Yi smashed down on the window 3 times in quick succession. The cracks became larger and larger in the glass-reinforced plastic. With that final hit, the window cracked open and the window pieces flew into the car onto the face of the stunned driver. Zhang Yi was still looking indifferent to it all as he put his hand in to unlock the car doors from the inside. This scene happened too quickly. No one was expecting it at all. The reporters were stunned. Tsinghua University's student recruitment teachers were dumbfounded. Peking University's student recruitment teachers were also at a loss for words. Everyone present at the scene simply did not expect Zhang Yi to resort to such a violent and unreasonable method. By smashing the car that belonged to Tsinghua University. Liao Qi nearly vomited blood. Zhang Yi. The Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers were all shouting. Bastard! Zhang, do you want to die? Smashing our car? How dare you smash our car? Call the police. Quickly call the police. Zhang Yi, you better stop right there. Do you still have any regard for the law? Suddenly, several of the Tsinghua University male recruitment teachers who were standing close to him rushed forward. But at the same time, Zhang Yi, who was still holding on to the half a slab of brick, turned his head to them, causing them to stop in their tracks. They did not risk getting any closer to him. A lot of them knew about the rumors concerning Zhang Yi and had seen him on the news more than once. When he was working at Beijing television, he had beaten up his leader. More recently, a more notorious scandal everyone knew about happened after the Spring Festival Gala ended. Zhang Yi sent a Korean celebrity, Lee Anson, flying with a kick. That incident brought Zhang Yi much criticism and trouble, and he had been brought to the police station 3 times over this affair. As such, it might be impossible that any other university professor would smash cars, but with Zhang Yi, nothing was impossible. He had done everything before, and even did it more than once. With this deterrence, the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers did not risk making any unnecessary moves. Even though they kept scolding with their mouths, none of them tried to go up to stop him. After all, Zhang Yi's reputation was so infamous that he might really hit them. Huang Lingaling ran out of the car. The other 2 number 8 high school students in there with her also came out together with her. Teacher. Huang Lingaling said, panic-stricken. Zhang Yi nodded at her. Go to the where the Peking University teachers are and wait for me there. Okay, I understand. Huang Lingling immediately walked over to the Peking University student recruitment teachers, looking back every now and then as she made her way to them. Seeing this, the other two students of number 8 high school followed along close behind. Realizing what was happening, Suna and 7 or 8 other student recruitment teachers went over and brought the students back to their side. Suna looked at Zhang Yi and nodded. Then, Teacher Zhang, right as those words came out, she saw Zhang Yi take another large stride toward the second car. With the sound of even more screams, Zhang Yi held up the half a slab of brick and smashed it at the car's window again. The window of this car shattered more easily than the previous one. Though the driver's seat was empty, there were 2 students from number 4 high school inside. After Zhang Yi had smashed open the window, he put his hand into the car and unlocked it, releasing the 2 number 4 high school students. A second car was smashed. Many of the people who saw this could only gasp from shock. 723 Smash. 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 Chapter 723, Smash. 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 Zhang Yi. Stop right there. Do you have any regard for the law? Do you have any regard for the law? Doing something like this in broad daylight. Does nobody care about this? Where are the security guards? Come quickly. The teachers of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team repeatedly screamed. Some were calling the police, some were calling for their own security guards from Tsinghua University, and some were flying into a rage. Smashing Tsinghua University's cars right at the entrance of Tsinghua University was a total provocation. This was the same as smacking their faces repeatedly. Did they even know what kind of place Tsinghua University was? This was a top institution in the country and a globally renowned university. When had they ever had to encounter a situation like this? When had they ever had to encounter such an unreasonable person like this bastard? Never before. When they learned of the commotion happening outside, some students of Tsinghua University who still weren't on break gradually showed up at the scene. They cautiously peeked at the outside of the campus. What they saw dumbfounded them. What the hell? What's happening? Isn't that Zhang Yi? Why did he come all the way to Tsinghua University to pick a fight this time? Back when Zhang Yi caused a ruckus at Peking University's Centennial Hall, it had created an international repercussion. Who could have thought that so soon after that incident, this fellow was now showing up at Tsinghua University's doorstep today and creating yet another scandal? Many of the Tsinghua University students were feeling a little dizzy due to his antics. It's not like they had never encountered a person with a bad temper, but this was the first time that they had come across such a fucking bad-tempered fellow. Was Teacher Zhang Yi born under the star of the gunpowder keg? Why did he always explode into anger so easily? How was he so fearless? Everyone was shaken. Xenia shouted at him, Zhang Yi. Han Hinian kept wiping his sweat away as he felt that this matter was getting way too far out of hand. When Zhang Yi smashed the first car, the teachers of the Peking University student recruitment team felt shocked but relieved, and got a kick out of watching his actions. But when Zhang Yi followed up with smashing the second car, the Peking University teachers could only look at each other in dismay and didn't know what to do. Professor Zhang was overreacting. Yet that still was not the end of it. In the midst of the chaos, Zhang Yi was seen turning his head around to look at Tsinghua University's third car that was holding the other exam's top scorers. He then walked calmly over to the car. Everyone was dumbfounded. This is Zhang Yi's. A few seconds later, the loud crash of something being smashed traveled through the air. Zhang Yi brandished his arm, holding the half a slab of brick, and smashed it on the third car of Tsinghua University without any hesitation. Bang! 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 After 3 smashes, the glass window shattered into many tiny fragments. The driver inside was also on the Tsinghua University student recruitment team. At this moment, he had been shocked into a daze and was too scared to move. He allowed Zhang Yi to unlock the car door without any resistance, which set free the students from Beijing Normal University Affiliated High School and number 15 High School. Upon seeing that, the top scorers inside the car also didn't know how to react and just hurriedly got out. One of the examinees who indicated Peking University as his first choice institution rubbed his eyes with confusion and quickly went in the direction of the Peking University student recruitment teachers. As for the other 2 examinees, they had initially applied for Tsinghua University, but when they saw the situation, they did not behave stupidly. Right now, Teacher Zhang was standing there like a one-man army, so it would definitely be dangerous if they stood on the side of the Tsinghua University teachers. They certainly had to get away as far as possible from there. If they were able to become top scorers, how dumb could they be? The 2 of them exchanged a look and then quickly ran far away from there. They eventually ended up standing at a spot that was obviously closer to the Peking University student recruitment teachers. Zhang Yi was already looking towards the 4th car of Tsinghua University's student recruitment team. He walked toward it at once without any hesitation or pause. When the staff member of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team in the fourth car saw him walking over, he nearly pissed his pants as he shouted, "Ayo, my goodness." Without waiting for Zhang Yi to smash his car, he unlocked the car door himself and ran out from the car frantically, like he was avoiding the god of plague. Then Zhang Yi looked at the fifth car. The fifth car's driver trembled with fear and also ran away, abandoning the car. Without even waiting for Zhang Yi to look over, the driver of Tsinghua University's sixth car had already disappeared without a trace, lightning fast. Some of the drivers thought to themselves, it's not that we are timid, rather we're only paid for helping out in the student recruitment, not to fucking risk our lives. All at once, the drivers of those cars scattered away in panic. The examinees held in the cars were all set free and gradually came out from the cars. Some of them were surprised at the sight of Zhang Yi, some had excitement shining in their eyes and some were sweating profusely from anxiety. There were all kinds of expressions. How ferocious. This was what you'd fucking call a fierce person. Just a stare alone would be able to shock anyone. Several seconds went by as the huge area at the main entrance of Tsinghua University fell silent without a single movement. At this moment, Liao Qi shouted, "Stop him." A female teacher of Tsinghua University's student recruitment team also shouted, "Stop him. What are you doing standing there and looking on for?" Over at Tsinghua University's side, shouts rang out all around, but it was just pure shouting. No one rushed up to stop Zhang Yi. These people were all university teachers, and if you talked about teaching or passing on knowledge, each of them was more knowledgeable than the last. If you talked about writing with a flowery style, each of them was stronger than the last, but when you talked about fighting, then they really couldn't do it. But Zhang Yi? He had fought with his leaders kin, a celebrity, security guards, aircraft hijackers, and according to the rumors online, he even seemed to have fought with some monks at a certain temple in Beijing during filming. He did things here and there regardless of age or industry. This guy had done all sorts of things and was already battle-fucking hardened. Even those armed hijackers who were notoriously vicious criminals were not a match for Zhang Yi, so for a bunch of teachers like them from the Tsinghua University student recruitment team, who could possibly take him on? Whoever went against him would surely end up sacrificing themselves for nothing. Only an idiot would go up against him. Zhang Yi looked around. When he saw that all of the examinees had been released, he threw away the brick in his hand and dusted off his dirty hands. Even though the weapon had been dropped, as he stood there, still no one risked approaching within 10 meters of him. The teachers of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team began to scold him with loud voices from a distance. "This isn't over yet. I've called the police. The police will be here soon. Zhang Yi, you go too far. You do things without making any allowances. To think that you're still a teacher of the people? You are more like a rotten scoundrel. Even a scoundrel is more civilized than you. Who are you to smash our cars like that? Who are you to hit Professor Liao?" When Suna heard they called the police, she hurriedly yelled to Zhang Yi, "Teacher Zhang." However, Zhang Yi's expression did not change whatsoever. Instead, he said to Suna and the teachers of the Peking University student recruitment team, "Take those examinees who are willing, and make your way back to Peking University for a talk about admissions and the terms of enrollment. I will handle the issue here. None of you have to worry." When the teachers of the Peking University student recruitment team saw that the situation was already in this state, they could only clench their teeth and immediately go over to the examinees. They did not force it on anyone but welcome those who were willing to go with them back to Peking University and learn more about the admissions process. They didn't say anything to those who did not want to go, as it was their personal freedom. Upon seeing this, the Tsinghua University teachers became anxious. "Don't you dare! Who allowed you to touch our students?" Many of the teachers of Tsinghua University's student recruitment team wanted to rush forward to grab the examinees back. But when Zhang Yi took a step forward, those staff members of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team stopped in their tracks immediately. They could only stare angrily and began scolding loudly once again. "To think that you are a teacher of the people. Zhang Yi, you are a bastard. I'm so pissed off." With the persuasion of the teachers of the Peking University student recruitment team and the influence of the current atmosphere, almost all of the top scorers followed the Peking University teachers into the cars. Among them were some of examinees like Huang Lingaling, whose first choice preference was Peking University, and some others who were unsure of which institution to apply for. Only 4 of the examinees who were probably determined to apply for Tsinghua University chose to remain behind. The rest of the examinees all got into the cars. When the teachers of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team saw this, they fumed with rage and felt their hearts bleeding. Those were the examinees among the top 30 scorers in the Beijing college entrance exam. Every one of them was like a treasure. But with Zhang Yi blocking them, They could not get past him and could only watch helplessly as the top scores they had almost gotten a hold of were now being taken away by the teachers of the Peking University student recruitment team. Soon a new rivalry had now formed between Zhang Yi and Tsinghua University. So after arranging for the top scorers to leave, she stayed behind as somebody definitely had to be there. Han Henian and 5 teachers of the Peking University student recruitment team also stayed behind. In a while, when the police came, they would definitely need to help with explaining their side of things. Zhang Yi, just wait and see. Our score is not yet settled. When the police comes, I'll see what you can do. The people of Tsinghua University hated Zhang Yi to the core. The people from Peking University were getting quite worried as they did not know how to handle this matter when the police arrived. But who could have guessed? When Zhang Yi heard what they said, he leisurely took out his cell phone from his pocket, then looked at the screen and lightly pressed 3 times on the keypad. Although everyone was too far away to clearly see what number Zhang Yi dialed, there were just several agencies that could be reached with only 3 numbers. Moreover, the pressed positions on the keypad made it very easy to guess. Zhang Yi had dialed 110. Everyone was stunned for a while. Call the police? You still want to call the police? Liao Qi sneered incessantly. Several of the teachers from the Tsinghua University student recruitment team also laughed. However, when the call connected, Zhang Yi's first lines left everyone dumbfounded. Zhang Yi said, "Hello, is this the police station? I would like to report an incident. That's right. There are some kidnapped hostages at the main entrance of Tsinghua University. Yes. Don't worry, I've already successfully rescued the hostages." Who am I? There's no need to ask who I am, just call me Lei Feng. Liao Qi was stunned by this. Kidnapped. Xinya stared eyes wide. Hostages? All of the teachers of the Tsinghua University student recruitment team. Zhang Yi, why are you so shameless? What did you mean by kidnapped? No one can slander the way you do. Kidnapped. Kidnapped your sister. You're so wicked. Weren't you first at fault? Yet you're complaining? And who the heck is Lei Feng? Chapter 724, Thick as Thieves. 10 minutes later. On the road in front of Tsinghua University's main entrance, 6 to 7 police vehicles arrived and their blaring sirens, which could be heard from several streets away, stopped. They made a strong show of force, and judging from the license plates, these police vehicles were clearly not sent from the local police station, Sub-District Public Security Bureau, but from the District Police Station, District Public Security Bureau, instead. After the police report was received, the District Police Station was immediately informed of it. Kidnapping of hostages? This was a big case that the local police station would not be able to handle. So officers from the district police station were activated and sent to the location, equipped with guns. More than a dozen police officers had been sent over. However, when they got to the scene, the police officers in the vehicles witnessed a relatively calm scene. A couple of cars had their windows smashed while a crowd of people had gathered around to observe. There were even reporters. They got out of the police cars. What happened? What's the situation? Who alerted the police? Officer Sun, the lead police officer, asked around, who is Lei Feng? Suddenly, Zhang Yi strode out from the group. That's me, I am. I was the one who called the police. When they saw him, the dozen or so police officers' eyes all widened with confusion. How could they not know this person standing right before them? All of them knew who he was, which was why they all nearly fainted together at once. Lei Feng? Lei Feng, your sister. Aren't you just the goddamn teacher Zhang Yi? When did you change your last name to Lei? Clearly, the people of this world did not know who Lei Feng was. When Liao Qi and the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers saw that the police had arrived, their confidence recovered and they were no longer afraid of Zhang Yi. They rushed to the front, shouting, "Officers, you finally arrived." It was him. He was the one who smashed the cars of Tsinghua University and interfered with our student recruitment. He even beat up our people and used physical force on us. This is too lawless. Just look at this. The car windows are all smashed. It was with that brick slab. It was Zhang Yi who used it to smash the cars. This is too much. I've never seen such an unreasonable bully before. The Tsinghua University teachers yelled continuously. The student recruitment teachers from Peking University who had stayed behind also retorted immediately. Suna said, "Officers, this matter is definitely not teacher Zhang's fault. It was those people from Tsinghua University who insisted on snatching the students from us. When a number of those students did not want to go with them, they used force to take them away from their homes or schools and sent them back here." Han Henian added, "We managed to stop them outside the entrance, but the car doors ended up getting locked by the Tsinghua University people. They kept the students trapped in the cars against their will. They've totally gone insane. Tsinghua University, held against their will my ass. Peking University, if that wasn't holding them against their will, then what do you call it? Tsinghua University, You're the ones who are trying to steal the students from us now. Using violence to take them away forcefully. Peking University, we're not the same as you. The students followed us according to their own initiative. We did not insist on it, but what about you? When the students did not want to come along, you just dragged them here against their will. Both groups kept harping on the same points and hugely exaggerated for more impact. Tsinghua University, bullshit. Both groups kept pointing fingers at each other and were arguing again soon after. When the police officers heard this, they immediately knew that this was going to be troublesome case. They had received 2 reports earlier, one of someone committing a crime outside of Tsinghua University's main entrance reported by the people from Tsinghua University. The other report was about the kidnapping of hostages at Tsinghua University's main entrance reported by Zhang Yi. At the beginning, the police thought they were referring to the same case, where someone was committing a crime by kidnapping. However, after they arrived, they realized that it was basically 2 separate issues in response to each other. A few of the police officers were left speechless for a long time and gradually holstered their guns, knowing that the situation was not as dangerous as they thought it to be. Committing a crime and kidnapping or whatnot, it was all exaggerated by the 2 parties who had reported it. Actually, they were not unfamiliar with such a situation between Tsinghua and Peking University, as the 2 institutions had often clashed and tussled many times over the years. The local police station used to send their officers to settle such cases, but this was the first time they were witnessing such a drastic situation between the 2 institutions where cars were smashed and people were beaten up. The most extreme situations in the past had always been kept to arguments and quarrels only, nothing as serious as today. They couldn't have expected a bunch of intellectuals to actually get into a physical altercation. How should they handle this? This situation wasn't going to be easy to handle at all. The lead officer had a headache due to this. Whether it was Peking University or Tsinghua University, they were the top 2 institutions in the country. In terms of civil service authority, the school's leaders were ranked higher than their district police station leaders. They were basically at the level of deputy ministers. The lead officer could only say, "Just what is going on? Please tell me." One at a time. A female teacher from Tsinghua University shouted, "Zhang Yi beat up our people. He hit Professor Liao." Liao Qi pulled up his sleeve. "Look, it's all bruised." Several policemen went to take a look. The arm was indeed bruised, but it didn't look like serious at all. Zhang Yi looked at the Tsinghua University people. "Did I make a move on him?" A person from Tsinghua University said, "Of course you did." Zhang Yi threw his hands up. "If we're talking about who made a move first, it was Professor Liao who came over to grab my shoulders at the beginning, didn't he? He even tried to push me, but what did I do? I didn't even raise an arm." Liao Qi was outraged. The lead officer did not just listen one side of the story. He went over to the observing crowd to better understand the situation. "Who made the move first? Did anyone of you see anything?" "I saw it. It was that professor from Tsinghua University who grabbed Zhang Yi by his shoulders first. And then the professor took a tumble on his own." "Took a tumble? On his own?" "Yeah, it didn't look like anyone touched him." "No one touched him?" "I only saw Zhang Yi's shoulder sway a little, but it wasn't much. Then that professor took a tumble. As for how it happened, I didn't see it clearly, but Zhang Yi definitely did not raise his arms." "Alright, I understand." The surrounding crowd just related whatever they had seen to the police officers. When the Tsinghua University people heard this, they couldn't accept it. The lead officer said, "Let's put this matter aside first. Who smashed the car windows?" Zhang Yi said, "I did." The police officer said, "Why did you do it?" Zhang Yi said righteously, "They kidnapped those students, so as a citizen of China, as a public figure who is also a role model, how can I ignore something wrong happening when I see it? I ought to rise to the occasion." The police officers. The Tsinghua University teachers nearly vomited blood at this reply. "Holy shit. What do you mean by rising to the occasion? You are clearly trying to steal our students away. You are too shameless, Zhang Yi." A few of the Peking University teachers also started sweating with anxiety when they heard this. But right at this moment, several cars arrived. It was the Peking University student recruitment teachers and the exam's top scorers who had just left. They had returned. Huang Lingaling and a few other examinees alighted, and this time, their parents also came with them. "Teacher," Huang Lingaling said anxiously. Sunala explained to the police officers, "These were a few of the students who were taken away forcefully just now." The police officers immediately started asking, "Were the few of you taken away by the people from Tsinghua University just now? Did you all go with them willingly?" Huang Lingaling said, "About that. I didn't willingly go with them." Another male student also said in embarrassment, I had already filled in Peking University as my first choice and agreed to meet with the Peking University student recruitment teachers." But when I was at my school's graduation ceremony, I got pulled aside by the Tsinghua University teachers and got dragged along with them. I didn't want to go as my parents had let me apply for Peking University. Clearly, after the Peking University side found out about the situation here, they sent this group of people back to support Zhang Yi, knowing that he might get into a sticky situation. The male student's parents also spoke. The father said, Tsinghua University went too far. My son did not even want to follow them, yet they grabbed him with force and put him into their car. This is as good as kidnapping. The mother said, when his teacher from school called to inform me that my son had been taken away, his father and I were scared to death. So we quickly rushed here, thinking that he had been taken away by some child trafficking gang. Liao Qi retorted angrily, we were doing student recruitment. The mother grunted at him, who knows what you people were trying to do? Liao Qi said, you. The parents were actually speaking up and siding with Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi looked at the two of them with wonder. Suna walked beside Zhang Yi and whispered to him, they are Zhu Jing's parents. His father and mother both graduated from Peking University and were very prominent figures in the school back in the day. It suddenly dawned on Zhang Yi why these two persons were siding with him so much. It was because they were on the same team as him. Huang Lingling's father followed up with, my child is the same. She has always dreamed about attending Peking University since childhood. When those Tsinghua University people dragged her away forcefully, it gave my child such a scare. How can anyone do the things they did? They might as well commit highway robbery. Even if the Tsinghua University teachers were doing this for the student recruitment and without any other motives, they shouldn't have done it this way. That is essentially disrespecting the views our children. Afterwards, a few more parents started ranting. Some of them were basically graduates from Peking University, so if they didn't side with Peking University on this matter, who else would they side with? Meanwhile, some of the other parents were very unhappy with how Tsinghua University had tried to force things their way this time. For these parents, when it came to such important matters, they should have at least notified and informed the parents before taking them away, not like how they handled it. The place was chaotic again. It's not like that. We were just doing this for the children. We called you before inviting them to Tsinghua University. The Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers were trying their best to explain themselves. But the students' parents' doubts just grew and grew. After a long back and forth with the two groups of people talking for over 20 minutes, the lead officer formed a very good understanding of the situation. He waited for them to finish arguing before standing between them and saying to the Tsinghua University group, I understand quite well what's going on here. In fact, Professor Liao's injuries aren't very serious, and besides, the witnesses have all vouched that Professor Zhang did not touch him whatsoever, so let's drop that matter. As for the smashing of the cars, he looked at Zhang Yi and continued, Professor Zhang's way of handling the situation was indeed inappropriate. Actually, it's just student recruitment, so there was no need to resort to smashing cars like you did. But similarly, Tsinghua University has a big problem on this front. Since they did not respect the wishes of the examinees and forcefully brought them here, that action itself was already overboard. Now that we have established that both parties were at fault and should be responsible for their actions, though not amounting to kidnapping and committing crimes as those claims were exaggerated, I would like to offer to both groups that we drop the matter and forget about it. Liao Qi stared with eyes wide. Drop the matter? What about our cars? He smashed 3 of them. How can we just drop it like that? That's impossible. The people from Tsinghua University were objecting. Only Xingye did not say a word. Zhang Yi and the Peking University personnel did not have any issues with this outcome. The cars were already smashed and they also got back the students, so to them, there wasn't really anything else to ask for. It would be best that they could drop the matter here. The police officer frowned. If you really want me to handle this matter, then I can only do it like this and negotiate for both sides. If Zhang Yi had really smashed your cars for no reason, I would have taken him away immediately. But that is not the case here, since your side also has a problem with your actions. The students' parents have already made it very clear. Honestly, if they choose to not sue you for holding their children in illegal custody, you're already very lucky. Should they want to take this up with the authorities, it wouldn't do any of you good, right? The attitudes of the parents were very critical here. Even if it was just a few parents of the students, it was more than enough. The Tsinghua University people turned pale, and did not say a word. The police officer said, at most, you can ask for them to compensate you for the car windows. How does that sound? Zhang Yi shrugged. I have no complaints. The police officer nodded and turned to look at Liao Qi and the others. To the Tsinghua University group, those car windows weren't even worth much. Could it compare to what those top scorers were worth? Of course not. They weren't even in the same class. Soon after, with the matter more or less put to rest now, Peking University compensated Tsinghua University for the car repairs, while the Tsinghua University student recruitment teachers offered their apologies to the examinees' parents who were unhappy about the way the matter was handled. After the matter was settled, the policemen all drove off. To be honest, the moment the police cars left Tsinghua University, many of those police officers heaved sighs of relief. If Zhang Yi had smashed those cars with no good reason today, they might have really had to bring Zhang Yi back with them to the police station. If that had happened, there might have been a chance that they would attract another round of trouble on themselves. They had long ago heard about Zhang Yi's temper. Back then, Zhang Yi was arrested twice, and on both occasions, the police stations which arrested him were plunged into chaos. With his My Confession and Prisoner's Song, countless citizens turned up to turn themselves in on behalf of Zhang Yi. It caused such huge turmoil that the police stations were nearly dismantled. Those police officers who had been through those times would often bring it up during meal times and share their haunting stories of the incidents. They knew well Zhang Yi's notoriety, so if they could avoid it, they would definitely choose to not arrest Zhang Yi. If they did, it would have been as good as arresting a ticking time bomb. It was a good thing that they did not have to go to that extent this time, as it was clear that Tsinghua University people were at fault. The problem was resolved. The reporters left. The observing crowd also dispersed. The expressions on the Tsinghua University people were not good. They turned their heads and glowered at Zhang Yi. In their fight with Peking University this time, they had suffered a great and humiliating loss. Not only did they not manage to invite the exam's top scorers to their admission talks, their cars had also been damaged. All face was lost, and many of the student recruitment teachers could not take this lying down. They quietly cursed at Zhang Yi 10,000 times over. No, it was more like 100 million times. On the Tsinghua University campus, Liao Qi scolded, "That damned hooligan." A female teacher said in anger, "Tsinghua University is not finished with the Zhang guy." Another Tsinghua University teacher yelled, "We will surely hold him accountable for this someday." Xingye walked off alone to somewhere quiet. She angrily took out her cell phone and made a call to her childhood friend Wu Zeking. Old Wu answered the call. "Hello." Xingye denounced, "Old Wu. What kind of boyfriend did you get? He just happily comes up against me and even smashed our cars. He pissed me off today." Old Wu laughed and asked, "What happened?" Xingye related the incident to her and then said, "He proposed a solution to the mathematical conjecture and just left it for a group of us to work on it tirelessly day and night to verify it for him. It's fine that he did not thank me for it, but now he's not even leaving any face for me?" Old Wu said, "I was the one who told him to go this time." Xingye said, "But he still shouldn't have handled it that way. Just settle it with words. Who the hell settles problems by smashing cars?" Old Wu chuckled and replied calmly, "It's not like you've only known him for a day. He has always been like this. You're still trying to defend him? Aren't you trying too hard to justify his actions?" Xingye said angrily. Old Wu laughed, "Alright, would it be okay if I apologize to you on behalf of little Zhang?" Xingye replied annoyed, "No." Old Wu said, "Then why don't I buy you dinner?" Xingye snorted, "That's not enough. He has to apologize to me." Old Wu said, With that temper of his, do you think it's possible? Besides, when we come around to what happened, Tsinghua University was truthfully in the wrong in the first place. I'm sure you agree with me on that, right?" When she heard this, Xingye nearly vomited blood in anger. "I've finally seen through you. Whatever Zhang Yi does, you'll always think that it's correct. You two are thick as thieves." 1. Level 4 for Presidents of Key Universities in the Civil Service Ranking System, 725 An Urban Legend of the Entertainment Industry. Chapter 725, An Urban Legend of the Entertainment Industry. In the afternoon. Old Wu's residence. Zhang Yi got out of his car after returning to the villa. The moment he stepped foot onto the front yard, he could smell the fragrant aroma of Old Wu's cooking. The door wasn't locked. He pushed open the door and entered the house. He saw Old Wu cooking in the open kitchen. "Whoa, it smells really good. What are we having for lunch?" Zhang Yi probed. Old Wu carried on cooking and said, "Shredded pork and red braised pork ribs. Great, they're all my favorites." Zhang Yi was delighted. Old Wu asked, "Have you settled it?" Zhang Yi answered, "Yes, I've settled it. How could I have come back otherwise?" 90% of the top 30 scorers in the Beijing college entrance exam are now listening to Peking University's admissions talk. As for how many of those students will end up applying to Peking University, I do not know. It all depends on them now. Old Wu said, "I heard that you even smashed their cars?" Zhang Yi replied, "Your news is quite up to date." Old Wu stated, "Xingye gave me a call earlier. She said you did not give her any face and claimed that we were thick as thieves. You have really made her furious this time." Zhang Yi said, "You can't blame me for that. It's the people of Tsinghua University who didn't know how to behave themselves. Suddenly, a phone call came in. Zhang Yi answered. Dean Pan, are you looking for me? It was from Dean Pan Ying of Peking University's School of Mathematical Sciences. Once the call connected, Pan Ying asked with concern, how are you, little Zhang? Did you get hurt? Zhang Yi sniggered. Me? Hurt? I'm fine. Pan Ying asked, the police didn't make things difficult for you afterwards, right? Zhang Yi said, it's all been settled. I'm at home now and getting ready for lunch. Then that's good. Pan Ying said, Peking University already knows about what happened this time. After hearing the news, the president even specially rushed back to the school. After conversing with him, the president told me to pass a message to you. He said that if you're free, come back to Peking University for a visit. Zhang Yi smiled. Sure, I understand. Pan Ying said, earlier, when everyone was chatting privately about this matter, many of those Peking University teachers who were not friendly toward you in the past spoke well of you. Everyone was chatting about you, including little Han Henian of the math department. When we were talking about the incident, he mentioned how he thought you did a marvelous job. Even though Zhang Yi and Han Henian did not have much bad blood between them, their relationship wasn't that good either. In the past, they got into a war of words at the International Math Olympiad. There was also the incident when Han Henian pursued Old Wu, etc. Zhang Yi asked in disbelief, Teacher Han said something nice about me? Those were his actual words, Pan Ying answered. Why would I lie to you? Alright then, Zhang Yi said noncommittally. Pan Ying stated, many people will definitely scold you for the trouble you got into today. Can you shoulder all that scolding? If you can't, I'll talk to heads of the school and let Peking University help you out with this matter. Zhang Yi immediately replied, that's not necessary, Dean Pan. It's no big deal. I could even take the pressure after cursing those foreign dignitaries, so how bad could this incident about smashing some car windows get? I'm fine and can handle the heat. Although, can you talk to the head so that I do not have to compensate the car windows? Pan Ying laughed upon hearing this. Of course. You've done a lot this time, so we couldn't possibly ask you to pay as well, right? Zhang Yi's appearance this time had truly been a great help to Beijing University. In just a short time, he had reversed the disadvantage that Peking University faced in the situation involving the top scorers. Many of the Peking University teachers and professors were not of any help at all. Many of the teachers on the student recruitment team could only stare blankly at those Tsinghua University teachers as they took the examinees away. In the end, when nobody knew what to do, it was Zhang Yi, the suspended teacher from Peking University, who turned the tide. Without any hesitation, he smashed the car windows to take the examinees back. With just this point alone, many of those Peking University teachers who previously did not have a good opinion of him now saw him in an entirely different light. Upon carefully thinking about it, Zhang Yi's temper might be bad, and he often got into conflicts with his colleagues, had scolded foreign dignitaries at the auditorium, and even rebutted the school's heads before. But however bad his temper, there was nothing they could criticize Zhang Yi for on what he had done for Peking University, and not a single fault that they could pick on for his treatment of the Peking University students. Whenever there was trouble, he would really go and take it head on. Meanwhile, at a newspaper firm, everyone on the entire second-floor office was extremely busy. 2 interns returned very excitedly from their field work. One of them, holding a camera, said excitedly, Chief Editor Chen, big news, big news. Tsinghua and Peking University were fighting over the students at the entrance of Tsinghua University. Zhang Yi smashed several of Tsinghua University's cars as well. We got all the first-hand information and even recorded the entire scene on video from beginning to end. The intern beside him was also extremely excited. Chief Editor Chen, did we do well this time? After hearing that, the editor-in-chief did not even look at them and just carried on with his own work. He yawned and told them, yeah, you two did quite well. Quite well? Only quite well? Is that all? The shorter intern exclaimed, Chief Editor Chen? The editor-in-chief said in an unfriendly tone, write the rough draft up as soon as possible. This news. The taller intern blinked and continued, will it get published on the front page in the headlines today? A senior reporter beside them laughed. Just do whatever the chief editor tells you to do. Don't always try to claim the credit. This kind of news probably can't get into the headlines. That intern was puzzled. Why? The senior reporter guffawed, when Zhang Yi manages to avoid making trouble for 2 straight months, then that will surely get into the headlines. This joke made all the editors in the office chuckle. That's right. Has there ever been a day when Zhang Yi does not get into trouble? He is such a troublemaker that something is bound to happen wherever he goes. The two of you are new here and unfamiliar with the situation. Even if the media in Beijing lacks news about anyone, it won't be Zhang Yi's news. When you have worked long enough here, you will get used to it. There are incidents that Zhang Yi caused before that were more serious than this one, so what's the big deal with smashing some cars anyway? If it can even get on as the front page's second headline, it would be pretty good. The two interns. Even if it were slightly exaggerated, it represented Zhang Yi's image with the media, which wasn't that good after all. If it were Zhang Yuanqi who beat up someone, they would definitely be out in full strength to report on that news. If it were Chen Guang who smashed the cars, they would definitely and immediately send out a dozen or more reporters to the scene. As long as it were any other celebrity, they would be over 100 times more newsworthy. All with the exception of one person. Zhang Yi smashed some cars? Wasn't this a normal thing when it involved him? What's the big deal? Ever since this fellow debuted, that has always been his style. Elsewhere. Central TV Department. In the program team office of The Voice. Zhang Yi was on leave while the executive producer essentially did not partake in the production of the program. As the assistant directors, Hakiki and Zhang Zuo had to take on the responsibility and supervision of work over here. Suddenly, a female editor said in a speechless manner, "Ayo. Director Zhang is on the news again." Huh? What's happened to Director Zhang again? What's up? The several people around her immediately looked over. Hakiki, Zhang Zuo, and the others also felt panicked and quickly rushed over to take a look. What's going on? Didn't Director Zhang get 2 days of leave to rest at home? What sort of news is it this time? Upon finding out, the program team staff passed out in unison. What? Director Zhang fought with other people again? He fought with the people of Tsinghua University this time? And even smashed their cars? Is he alright? Don't tell me that Director Zhang got arrested again? No. The police seem to have settled the matter already. He was only required to pay compensation for breaking the car windows. Thank God. I was so scared. If Director Zhang really got arrested, how were we going to record the later episodes of the program? The executive director and host would have been gone. I've refused to be convinced by anyone else in my entire life, but I really have to bow to Director Zhang. He can even cause such a big uproar while resting at home for 2 days? I've been totally bewildered by him. The program team staff were discussing fervently about this. Very soon, the people at Central TV also found out about the matter and were constantly discussing it in private. Deputy Director Zhang Yuan of Central TV Department 1 saw the news the moment it was first reported. His expression changed greatly and he immediately called Zhang Yi to make sure of his safety. After verifying that Zhang Yi had not been arrested by the police and it would not affect the recording of the voice, Zhang Yuan felt a sense of relief, having worried for nothing. On the internet, the discussion was even more serious. Zhang Yi in trouble again. Tsinghua and Peking University fight during student recruitment. The war over top scorers. Who is at fault? Zhang Yi, how are we going to save you? The news headlines came one after another and went viral online. PFFT, Teacher Zhang is in trouble again. How delightful. Why did Tsinghua University offend Zhang Yi again? He's fighting with his peers again. Zhang Yi is such a pain in the ass. Whoever gets in his way will surely suffer from bad luck. The netizens were divided into 2 camps. One group fully supported Zhang Yi while the other scolded him. Obviously, those who were against Zhang Yi made up the majority as usual, with the Tsinghua University teachers as its main force. Liao Qi posted on Weibo, "These days, some teachers have really low standards." An old professor at Peking University retaliated, "Do you think that you have very high standards? Forcefully trying to get the students to join you people. What if they never intended to join Tsinghua University in the first place?" Tsinghua University and Peking University were cursing at each other. Zhang Yi's fans and foes were cursing at each other. It became very chaotic. In the end, even the Ministry of Education could not stand idle watching this any further and publicly issued a statement, in lieu of the media reporting about the phenomenon of individual universities using improper ways to attract college entrance exam top scorers. The Ministry of Education requests the related universities to observe their discipline and conscientiously maintain the propriety of the student recruitment. Finally, they ended the statement with a stern criticism on the misconducts of certain teachers. Although there was no pointing of fingers, it was obvious that the term certain teachers included Zhang Yi. More precisely, this criticism was mainly aimed at Zhang Yi. It was rare for the Ministry of Education to publicly criticize an individual. This showed that whether it was in his peers' opinions or in the eyes of the organizational leaders, Zhang Yi's name and reputation were terrible. But Zhang Yi himself and his fans did not feel so. Haha, Teacher Zhang was indirectly mentioned and criticized. There's not much difference between this and actually naming him. Dear Teacher Zhang, your reputation has become even worse now. Hi, Teacher Zhang Yi, I really have to hand it to you. Actually, these matters did not have much of an impact on Zhang Yi, because those people who liked him would still continue to like him. Zhang Yi's fans had already experienced too many similar situations, and wouldn't abandon him over such a small affair. Instead, it was precisely because they had experienced so much criticism and doubt when they followed Zhang Yi that their cohesiveness became stronger and they became braver with each setback. Moreover, each time after Zhang Yi caused any trouble, the number of people joining Zhang Yi's fan club would dramatically rise. The more people scolded Zhang Yi, the more his peers criticized him, the greater his increase in the number of fans and popularity. Speaking of which, this would also be considered an urban legend of the entertainment industry. 726 The Voice wraps up. Chapter 726, The Voice wraps up, Monday. After his off days came to an end, Zhang Yi arrived back at Central TV early in the morning. When he reached the Voice's program team office after taking the elevator up, the staff immediately surrounded him. Some of them were chatting lightheartedly with him while others were worried about his recent incident. Director Zhang, you're here? You gave us such a scare yesterday. Yeah, we thought that you might not be coming back anymore because of that. The police didn't trouble you, right? You aren't hurt, right, Director Zhang? Why did you get into a fight again? I was in the elevator just now and overheard two leaders chatting. They were talking about how they won't approve your off days anymore in case you go. Ahem. The Voice's recording couldn't proceed if you weren't here today. The recorded scenes we did before have all been broadcast. Yes, please don't scare us like that anymore in the future. Our weak hearts won't be able to take it. The assistant directors and editors kept going on and on about it. Zhang Yi laughed. I'll be fine, thank you all for your concern. Is the recording studio all set up and ready? What time will the coaches arrive? Hakiki said, the 4 coaches will be ready by 10 o'clock. Danzō said, the contestants have all arrived too and are getting ready for the stage. Zhang Yi voiced his understanding. Now that the blind auditions have been completed, we will be recording the battle rounds. This will be different from the previous segments, so I need everyone to give their full attention and follow the procedures I listed out beforehand. There will be 4 main camera positions, so let's set them up. 1. Understood. Got it. Right. Under Zhang Yi's command, the program team staff began to work very quickly. A sense of self-confidence they didn't have before could be seen on everyone's faces. This was bestowed upon them by Zhang Yi, as well as by The Voice. After several broadcasted episodes, The Voice's viewership ratings were just as hot, as it maintained the #1 spot in the nationwide viewership ratings for variety shows. They were even leading the #2 spot by a long way. As such, The Voice's program team staff were emboldened and confident. At least at this current moment, they were the most excellent program team there was among all of the variety show teams in the country. Around 10 a.m. in the recording studio, 3 of the coaches had already arrived. Only Zhang Yuanqi was not here yet, but her manager had called in advance to inform them that she was on the way. The preparations in the studio were more or less complete, with Hakiki, Zhang Zuo, and a few other staff members making some last-minute adjustments. Offstage, Zhang Yi was chatting with the coaches. Chen Guang said with a laugh, "You got into trouble again yesterday? Winli and I read about the news." Zhang Yi replied, "It was just a small thing." Chen Guang was amused by this response. "You even smashed the cars of Tsinghua University, how could it be a small thing? That temper of yours." Zhang Zia said with a hint of criticism. "You'd better improve it. I'm only telling you this because I don't treat you as an outsider, but just look at our entertainment circle. Are there any celebrities who have a temper as bad as yours? After all, that's Tsinghua University you're dealing with. You should have made some allowances with them no matter what." Zhang Yi sincerely responded, "All right, I will listen to Grandma Zhang's advice." Zhang Zai helplessly said, "All you do is talk the talk. You need to walk the walk too." Fan Wenli chuckled. "But then again, Director Zhang is doing really well in the entertainment circle even with that temper of his. That is also a talent by itself, and at least for me and old Chen, we aren't able to do the same. Whenever old Chen and I get some negative news reported on us, even if it's just some baseless rumor, both of us suffer a drop in our popularity. Our reputation also takes a hit. We're completely unlike you since every time there's any negative news or trouble concerning you, your popularity increases instead. You're definitely a miracle of the entertainment circle." Zhang Yi smiled and quickly said, "Sister Fan, please don't praise me so greatly. What miracle? Everyone is calling me the oddity of oddities. I know all about that." However, Zhang Yi did not care how others judged him. Anything he wished to do or anything he wanted to do, as long as he felt that it was not wrong, no one could stop him from doing. A commotion stirred outside. The thud of footsteps gradually got closer and closer. Zhang Yuanqi arrived. "Sorry I'm late, everyone," Sister Zhang politely apologized the moment she walked in. "I won't explain why, but after we finish recording today's episode, let me treat everyone to dinner." It was really just a one-off incident today. Actually, there were other cases like this where a big-shot celebrity like a Heavenly King was 3 hours late to a filming and the director and crew did not say a word about it. The entire film crew just waited for him to show up. But old Jong was much more considerate in her actions and the way she spoke. Even though she was only late by 10 minutes, she still apologized immediately after she arrived. This was also the reason why Sister Jong enjoyed such a good relationship with everyone even after working for so many years in the entertainment circle. At least on the surface, she was very friendly. Chen Guang smiled and said, "It's fine, we only just arrived too." Zhongzai asked, "Did you get held back because of your fans?" "Yes." Zhang Yuanqi laughed gently. "I had only just left my home when the reporters and fans blocked my way. I nearly couldn't make it here." After explaining, she looked at Zhang Yi and said, "I thought you were taken away by the police again." Zhang Yi laughed. "Well, I don't get taken down that easily." Zhang Yuanqi gave him advice out of goodwill. "Take it easy." "Okay." Zhang Yi then looked to his staff and said, "Let the audience in and prepare to start recording." The staff opened the doors and allowed the audience to make their way into the recording studio. At the same time, many of their colleagues from Central TV's other program teams also joined the audience for the recording. They found a seat wherever they could, while those who did not have any seats ended up finding a corner and standing there. They were all here to take part in the recording of the new episode of The Voice. In the previous blind audition rounds, everyone had understood and learned the way the segment operated. But for today's recording, it was going to be about the coaches' battle rounds, so a lot of their industry peers had come to watch and learn about it. Even if many of those people at Central TV still didn't approve of Zhang Yi as a host who always got into trouble every other day, they knew that his results were definitely the real deal. It was there for all to see. For a show that was ranked #1 in the nationwide viewership ratings for variety shows, there might be some home viewers who did not watch it because they didn't like to watch talent shows. But to an industry peer, even if it was a genre they did not like, they would still watch it. This was because it was their job. They also wanted to learn why Zhang Yi's programs could get such high viewership when they couldn't do it themselves. They had to know the reason. Very soon, the recording began. The stage lights flashed as the fog machine spewed out fog. Zhang Yi walked out to the stage slowly. "I will not accept any gifts this year. The only gift I will accept is brain gold. There's no need to watch any TV shows this year. The only TV show you need to watch is The Voice, the authentic health product, the authentic The Voice. Welcome to the broadcast of The Voice of China, brought to you exclusively by our title sponsor, leader in health products, Brain Gold. Drink Mount Ju mineral water to show your support for The Voice, the most favored student of the 4 coaches for this season of The Voice." It was the same reciting. They were the same lines of the advertising message. But even with the same tricks, he still managed to get the entire audience pumped up. Every time the audience heard Zhang Yi's machine gun-like reciting speed, they roared with excitement. Offstage, Hakiki, Zhang Zuo, and the others looked at each other and thought to themselves how lucky it was that nothing had happened to Zhang Yi yesterday. Otherwise, even if the position of the executive director could be replaced by someone else, no one could fill Zhang Yi's shoes as the host. The days flew by. 1 week. Another week. Yet another week. The duration of a singing show couldn't possibly be stretched out for too long. After around a month or so, the curtain was finally drawn on the first season of The Voice with much anticipation. The only tinge of regret Zhang Yi had was that in the lead-up to the night of the finale, Zhang Yi had strongly advocated to Central TV Department 1 for the season finale to be broadcast live on TV. He had wanted it to be just like The Voice from his previous world where they wrapped up the finals with a live broadcast, but due to Central TV Department 1's status as a national broadcaster rather than a provincial TV station, they had more considerations to be concerned about. They could not risk having anything that could not be controlled go wrong on live television. Therefore, Zhang Yi's application for the last episode to be broadcast live was denied. His team could only adhere to the old way of recording first and then broadcasting it later. The only redeeming factor was that the show's effects and quality were still considerably good. The top 3 contestants of the first season of The Voice were revealed. Champion, Dong Hao. Runner-up, Keon Pingfen. Second runner-up, Luo Yu. On this night of the finale, The Voice was the most discussed topic on Weibo, Taiba, and various forums. This night belonged to The Voice. "Hi, my Yuan Tong. You could only go as far as 8th place. I like Yuan Tong. She's beautiful and sings well too. I like Zhu Danian. I hadn't expected that he would get eliminated in the 3rd live round. What a pity. Dong Hao got 1st place. He was definitely a dark horse. He only has average looks, and does not have much personality in his singing voice, but I think that he was particularly good at performing at the right time. He's a typical contest-based participant and on that point, he really had a big advantage over the others. How could Keon Pingfen only be ranked 2nd? Flips table, my beloved Luo Yu. Third place is too unfair for you. Dong Hao getting first place is well deserved. What the heck? To me, Zhu Danian is the true champion. That old man was awesome. No matter how it ended, The Voice was an incredibly good watch. To me, this is the best variety show there is. No other shows even come close. Right. Zhang Yi has again done it too amazingly. It was a pleasant surprise to everyone. I could never have expected that our country could come up with such an outstanding variety show. Teacher Zhang, thank you for putting on such a great show for us. I love you, Keon Kingfan. I love The Voice and I love Zhang Yi. Waiting for the next season. Waiting so hard. It's definitely going to be the best variety show this year. The show's creativity, stage effects, skills of the host, strength of the contestants, no matter which aspect we look at, The Voice has totally outdone all of those talent shows in the same genre. That was so exciting. The Voice, thank you for accompanying me till the end of summer. There were discussions, analyses, appreciation, and criticism as the heated debates came one after another. On that night, the season finale of The Voice had its viewership ratings calculated in advance. A breakdown of viewership ratings for The Voice from its first episode showed that it had always been doing very well. First episode viewership, 2.01%. Second episode viewership, 2.12%. Third episode viewership, 2.04%. Fourth episode viewership, 1.95%. Fifth episode viewership, 1.98%. Sixth episode viewership, 2.09%. Seventh episode viewership, 2.13%. Eighth episode viewership, 2.22%. The average viewership was maintained at above 2%. Then, for the season finale episode, The Voice once again broke the nationwide viewership ratings record by securing a shocking 2.45%. A miracle. That was the word that many industry insiders used to describe the advent and closing of The Voice of China. 727 Skyrocketing popularity. Good preparation is the key to success. Chapter 727, Skyrocketing popularity. Good preparation is the key to success. At night. Keishaku. Zhang Yi returned home very late on this day. He walked unsteadily, obviously looking like he had a few drinks. After knocking on the door, his mother came to open it for him. His home living room was lit up. His mother asked, "Why did you come home so late?" "We had a celebratory feast. Since no one left early, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to leave first." Zhang Yi spotted his father sitting on the sofa, reading a newspaper. "Why aren't the two of you asleep yet?" His mother said, "We were waiting for you. What else?" "Where's Chenchen?" Zhang Yi asked. His father pointed to the bedroom. "She went to bed long ago." His mother was in a good mood, smiling and saying, "Your dad and I just finished watching the news. All the media outlets are talking about The Voice and the reviews are especially positive. I heard that the viewership ratings for the season finale broke records again. Well done. You've really done me proud." Zhang Yi said proudly, "But of course. Who do you think your son is?" His father reminded him, "Don't get arrogant, there's still a long way ahead of you." "I know, Dad." Zhang Yi also sat down and picked up a copy of the newspaper. He said, "Let me see what they are saying about my show. I've been so busy all of today, entertaining others during the celebratory feast that I couldn't rest for a minute." The newspaper evaluations gave a mixed review of Zhang Yi as a person, with each review greatly differing from the next. However, on the issue of his works, especially of The Voice, most of the media's comments were consistent. One of the newspapers wrote a rather interesting article. The article explored with wonderment, usually, the style of the work reflects the character of person who created it. However, those words do not apply to Zhang Yi. Perhaps many people will wonder for the rest of their lives about one thing: why is that a person like Zhang Yi, who attracts so much negative news and is full of negative energy, can come up with works that are so unexpected of him and full of positive energy that are also well loved by the people? His parents went to bed. When Zhang Yi finished reading the newspapers, he also ambled back to his bedroom. Without speaking, he turned on his computer and immediately went online to check the celebrity rankings index. S-list rankings. A-list rankings. B-list rankings. The list was progressively loaded. Finally, Zhang Yi found his name within the B-list rankings and clicked on it. It opened up the popularity score chart. He purposely went back to 3 months ago on the chart, the time he had just started preparing for the production of The Voice. He set the chart's table and graph to show his popularity score from that day until the current day. Starting from the far left region of the graph, he could clearly see that his popularity score had a smooth and stable upward trend, without too much variation. He had been constantly placed around the bottom of the B-list rankings at that time, but when The Voice's second episode was broadcast, his popularity score showed a sudden increase with the slope curving 30 degrees upward. Among the list of 30-40 B-list celebrities, he steadily climbed up the rankings. 36th place. 33rd place. 30th place. When it reached the period where The Voice's 5th episode was broadcast, Zhang Yi's popularity score had overtaken Fan Wenli's, who was near the bottom of the B-list rankings. He was even maintaining that ascending momentum with the passage of time. 27th place. 25th place. Most of the popularity he gained was from The Voice, which he was the executive director and overall planner for. There was also his amazing performance as the host of The Voice. Of course, a portion of this popularity was gained from other sources, such as the scolding battle he had online with his industry peers, the palindrome poem, the questions that he had written for those 2 subject exams in the Beijing College entrance exam, as well as the car smashing incident at Tsinghua University. All of it contributed some portion. The graph then reached the far-right region, which indicated his popularity score as of today. At this moment, Zhang Yi had risen to 22nd place on the B-list Celebrity Rankings Index. From his specified timeline of the data displayed, he had risen more than 10 spots, and judging from the popularity score increase during this time period, it was the highest amount of popularity he had gained ever since his debut. Importantly, being in the B-list rankings was no longer the same as being in the C or D-list rankings. Advancing 1 spot proved to be a very difficult task, let alone advancing more than 10 spots. Back then, when Zhang Yi had just broken into the B-list rankings, he tried out many things and still only brought himself up 1 or 2 spots out of last place. It was like he was moving at the pace of a tortoise, moving up the rankings bit by bit, slowly advancing like a creeping snail. All of this was actually down to the fact that celebrities in the B-list rankings were also rather well-known people with a good foundation for their popularity. Their popularity scores would not just stay as they were, so even if your popularity increased, the others would also have an increase in their own popularity. Naturally then, promotions in the rankings would be much slower. This was all within reason. However, with The Voice this time, Zhang Yi had bulldozed his way through from the bottom of the B-list rankings all the way to the middle of it. He had even overtaken Chen Guang with his momentum. As of now, these were the rankings around Zhang Yi's position. B-list celebrity rankings, 21st place, Hu Feng. 22nd place, Zhang Yi. 23rd place, Chen Guang. While Fan Wenli was at 29th place. Zhang Yi did not know who Hu Feng was, as he had never come across him before. But regarding old Chen and his wife, everyone knew who they were. Before The Voice was produced, the Chen Guang and Fan Wenli couple was more popular than Zhang Yi. Fan Wenli was ranked a little higher than Zhang Yi, while Chen Guang was ranked much higher. This was due to the fact that both of them were highly ranked within the singing industry, where they were like big shots who were near the top. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi was only a radio host who had dabbled in the local and online TV stations as a host, written poems, given lectures, authored a novel, and proved a mathematical conjecture. All of these activities targeted a smaller crowd and was also at a more complex level, so he definitely had no way to compare to old Chen and Fan Wenli. But with The Voice, all of that changed. It wasn't that Chen Guang and Fan Wenli's popularity did not grow. As coaches on The Voice, the couple's popularity also greatly increased and their celebrity rankings rose as well. But it was precisely because of Zhang Yi's massive increase of popularity that made him be able to overtake the couple's popularity scores. Counting the reasons, it was probably only down to the following 2 factors. Reason 1, Zhang Yi was too good at getting attention. He was the overall planner for The Voice as well as its executive director, even taking on the position of host. Since the audience all knew that Zhang Yi was the overall planner and executive director, they would naturally place more focus on him and the popularity would mainly go to Zhang Yi. He had appropriated a share of the popularity that was supposed to go to the 4 coaches, unlike with the original version of The Voice produced back in his previous world. Zhang Yi had reversed the roles of the host and the guests. Reason 2, because their paths were different, Chen Guang and Fan Wenli might have been dominating the singing industry, but when they stepped out of it, the 2 could not be considered very active in the greater entertainment circle. Their popularity in the singing industry also came from them walking the well-beaten path. Now that they both had almost gotten all the way to the top, they found it difficult to go any further. Naturally, this path also became narrower with their chances becoming limited. Even if the singing industry was a key industry of the entertainment circle, their potential for popularity was already close to the limit. Even if they could add on to it, there weren't many ways they could achieve it. But it was different for Zhang Yi. This was where you could see Zhang Yi grabbing an advantage over them since he was taking multiple paths, taking part in everything that was happening in the entertainment industry. Novels, poems, shows, exam questions, lectures, there was basically nothing he did not do. So this created a much wider path for the future. Rather than saying that he was almost at his maximum potential, he was just starting out in all of these fields he had dabbled in. As for his original profession as a host, he had never stepped foot into a satellite TV station that had nationwide coverage before this. He had always been working at a local or online television station. Since it was his first time as a central TV host, the effects were much more obvious as they came from a qualitative change in his work. Thinking back to some of the evaluations the experts had of him, Zhang Yi could only chuckle at them. Those industry insiders were not optimistic about him, and even some of his friends and relatives felt that his path to fame was an odd and difficult one since he was only doing things that appealed to the minority. If even Chen Guang, a big-shot celebrity who could hold his concerts overseas in some countries, found it hard to move up any further, then where could a jack-of-all-trades like you, a host who gave lectures, wrote novels, and composed poems, go? Zhang Yi had never doubted himself at any time in the past, but in the end, it was because of Wu Zexing's support and encouragement of him that he was enlightened. She provided him a clear direction. The words old Wu had said to him back then would never be forgotten by Zhang Yi in his life. The idea of walking many paths was first suggested by old Wu. This was also the reason why many singers switched over to acting when they reached a peak in their singing careers. It was also the reason why many movie stars switched to making album or writing novels when they had reached their peak in their respective industry. Facts had proven old Wu right. Facts had proven that Zhang Yi had not taken the wrong path. When he was initially not that popular, he might not have seen this. But now that he was a B-list celebrity, the advantage Zhang Yi had by walking multiple paths was gradually beginning to show. Chen Guang could no longer move up, while Fan Wenli was already slowing down in her rise. With celebrities like these encountering a bottleneck in their careers, it greatly surprised many of those industry peers, experts, and the media who were not optimistic about Zhang Yi. This was what you called good preparation is the key to success. 728 A grand prize is drawn. Beginning late at night. In the dead of night, almost every household was asleep. Zhang Yi was at his parents' house checking on the performance of his popularity in recent days and slightly summarizing his thoughts about his work for the past few months. Overall, he was pretty satisfied with how everything has turned out. At least when comparing it to how he was doing at the beginning of the year, he was doing much better in recent days. His popularity had also grown exponentially and could not be mentioned in the same breath as the past. Other celebrities might have encountered a bottleneck and slowed down in their progress the moment they entered the B-list rankings, but it was the exact opposite for Zhang Yi. It seemed like he had only just started ascending and heading toward the peak of his career. His short-term goal was reached earlier than expected, putting him in a very good mood. After summing it all up, it was about time for the lottery draw. During the recent college entrance examination question setting, Zhang Yi had spent a good half of his reputation points earned from the first few episodes of The Voice. He used them to increase his understanding and knowledge of this world by reading books related to the social sciences, novels of this world, foreign history, foreign languages, and all other sorts of books with varying topics. He scanned through all those books once, then by using the memory search capsules, he revisited all the text and images to store them into his mind, increasing his knowledge greatly and getting a better understanding of this world. Although not perfect yet, at the very least he wouldn't accidentally reveal that he wasn't from this world due to a lack of basic general knowledge. This was more than enough, as his greatest weakness was slowly being made up for. As for whether the additional knowledge was enough for him to relearn, Zhang Yi knew that it was not. He did not expect himself to be able to summon the wind and call for rain with just some books, since knowledge from text and images were almost always more passive in nature. It wasn't as if he could practically apply all of the replicated knowledge he had become so familiar with now. It wasn't that powerful. Otherwise, what was the point in having teachers? This was why the additional knowledge was just a way to supplement and enrich Zhang Yi and improve himself. He did not expect that he could put them to use anytime soon. If there was anything he knew that he could depend on, it was the lottery draw. With the existence of the game ring, it was the most direct and practical help that Zhang Yi could use. This was his greatest trump card. It had been some time since he had done the lottery draw. He was itching for it. First, a check to see how many reputation points had been earned. Zhang Yi was already prepared to have a spin at the lottery with all that he had. He opened up the game ring's virtual screen and immediately saw a long string of numbers appearing overhead. 183,082,000 reputation points. Hey! It's a little less than expected. The figure was a bit less than Zhang Yi's expected amount of reputation. He felt that it was a little low, but still acceptable overall. He understood that it was because of proving the mathematical conjecture he had gotten so many reputation points at that time, which caused him to have a higher expectation than what he was seeing now. But thinking about it practically, quite a lot of the reputation points he had gained earlier through the college entrance exam questions and The Voice he had already spent earlier. Moreover, The Voice might have high viewership ratings even when taking into account this world's factors and had gotten a 2-point rating, but that still would not compare to the sensation caused by proving a mathematical conjecture. After all, Dale's conjecture was huge, something that encompassed the entire world, so even if it was just a minority of people in each country who gave it their attention, his reputation points would still increase by a lot. That should not surprising at all. As for why the mathematical conjecture did not bring more real-world popularity to Zhang Yi as compared to the voice, he also knew the reason for it. After Dale's conjecture had been proven, many people learned of it and were shocked by it. But because Zhang Yi was considered a rookie in the mathematics world, coupled with the fact that proving a mathematical conjecture did not count as entertainment news, or to be precise, it was not considered a mainstream topic within the entertainment industry or of interest to the people, this had created the reason for why proving the mathematical conjecture did not bring Zhang Yi as much popularity as the voice, even though his game ring's reputation points had increased by a lot. But on the whole, the game ring's reputation points system still worked rather proportionately with Zhang Yi's popularity score in the real world, except in special circumstances like the situation surrounding the mathematical conjecture where there was some difference to a certain extent on how he gained his reputation points and popularity. Alright, it was time for the lottery draw. He would use the first draw and place a small bet to test his luck. He brought up the lottery draw interface and his eyes scanned the options available. He did not choose the upgraded lottery draw system. Instead, he just lightly touched the option that said Lottery Draw 1. This was the lottery draw system that was available prior to the system upgrade. But even if it was an older version and the prize items that could be won from it could no longer help much to Zhang Yi's progress, there were still some exceptions. In the Lottery Draw 1 system, he could win items like the difficulty adjustment die, which was cheap yet overpowered. The key was that its fail rate was very low, in that winning an empty treasure chest was unlikely. Compared to the new Lottery Draw 2 system, which had about a 50% chance of landing on an empty icon if he did not use the lucky halo, the probability of winning a prize was a lot higher in the older version. Zhang Yi had never intended to stop using the Lottery Draw 1 system. He was about to test his luck with it now. He clicked and purchased the right to play one round of the lottery draw. 100,000 reputation points were deducted. Once the wheel started spinning, Zhang Yi immediately clicked on the additional stakes button and added 99 stakes, making it a total of 100 stakes and spending 10 million points for this round of the lottery draw. Once a round. 5 times a round. The wheel spun extremely fast and then gradually slowed down. Special category. Give me the special category. Zhang Yi whispered under his breath the entire time. In the end, it came to a stop in the skills category zone. 100 treasure chests, small, came spilling out. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and lowered his head to open the chests and reveal the item that he won. Basics of Directing Skill Experience Book, times 100. Basics of Directing? Wasn't this a required course when majoring in directing? Zhang Yi blinked several times. This skill experience book had him surprised a little, as it was a prize that wasn't too different from what he had expected. It looked like his luck today was rather good. As a result, without another word, Zhang Yi pressed Lottery Draw 1 again. It started again. 100 additional stakes. Another 10 million reputation points were spent just like that. Looking at the spinning wheel, Zhang Yi screamed in his head again, hoping for a prize in the special category. This might be the older lottery draw system, but a prize from the special category could still mean getting the rights to purchase normal items from the merchant shop. Even if it didn't compare with the newer and upgraded Lottery Draw 2, it would still be a great help to him. An item that could be bought without limit and at any time he needed it as long as he had the required amount of reputation points was much better than getting an item that he might only get to use once, unless that item was on the same level as the one in his inventory, the one-up item. However, there still might be a merchant shop purchase right to the one-up item, so if he could win a special category prize that gave him the rights to purchase the one-up item from the merchant shop, wouldn't it be even better? So as long as he could land in the special category zone, Zhang Yi wouldn't want it any other way. Unfortunately, these outcomes were not up to him and he could only depend upon luck. Ding. The wheel stopped. The needle pointed at the skills category zone again. The lottery draw ended. Camera Techniques Skill Experience Book, times 101. When Zhang Yi saw this, he was again very happy with it. He thought about how strangely coincidental this result was. Camera Techniques? This should also be part of the syllabus for a directing major, right? The prizes he got today from the lottery draw were all related to directing work, and were even quite useful to Zhang Yi. Although he was the executive director of The Voice, everyone knew that Zhang Yi wasn't exactly a true blue director. He was considered someone who had no solid foundations in directing. He had only managed to do the show so well because he had the original The Voice show from his previous world to follow along with, and also the fact that a talent show did not really necessitate much skill from the director. This was not a TV drama or a movie, so it was much easier to handle the program as a director. Now that The Voice had ended, Zhang Yi's next program was still undecided. He had not started considering what his next program would be, so naturally, if he experienced 2 types of directing skills to boost his resume, wouldn't it be even better? Even if Zhang Yi were to come across any program that had very difficult shots to handle, he would still risk taking on the job as the executive director. 100 books of both the basics of directing and camera techniques skills? Together with his experience and the original shows from his world, Zhang Yi believed that he could definitely match up against any director who had just made their debut or graduated from directing school. This allowed him to add even more clout and qualifications to himself. Do you know how important the role of the executive director in a program is? If Zhang Yi could handle the entire process by himself, then he definitely wouldn't let others do it. Besides, with these kinds of experience books, he could put them to good use for TV dramas or movie filming in the future. It was time to eat them all. A total of 201 skill experience books were eaten and digested by Zhang Yi. After taking a deep breath, Zhang Yi reopened the lottery draw screen. With some hesitation, his eyes landed on the lottery draw 2 option. With focused determination, he reached out his hand and clicked the new lottery draw system. This was still the lottery draw that he was most anticipating. After all, even though the lottery draw 2 system was much riskier and he had wasted quite a lot of reputation points on it before, the prizes that could be won in lottery draw 2 was totally incomparable to those in lottery draw 1. It was time to give it a try. With the same attitude as the previous times, Zhang Yi was unwilling to activate the Lucky Halo, upgraded, as it cost too many reputation points to use. 100,000 reputation points for just 1 second of usage, if kept on for 1 minute, would force him to spend 6 million reputation points. This was almost the same as spending 10 million reputation points in lottery draw 2, so he was exceedingly unwilling to use it. The total reputation points he had left now was slightly over 160 million. Zhang Yi immediately clicked and purchased 1 ticket to play. 10 million reputation points suddenly vanished into thin air. The slot machine lit up and the icons in the windows started spinning. Stats category. IPT. IPT. Consumption category. Skills category. IPT. Skills category. No matter which icon showed up on the slot machine, Zhang Yi just kept whispering the same name under his breath. Special category. But the probability of the special category icon appearing in this version of the lottery draw was way too low. Compared to lottery draw 1, it was even lower. In any case, whether it was because Zhang Yi's eyesight wasn't too good or something else, after staring at the slot machine's windows for half a minute, Zhang Yi did not manage to spot the special category icon even once. Eventually, after a long time, he suddenly seemed to have caught a glimpse of the special category icon flashing across the slot windows. That's right. Don't mention getting it, even just seeing it was difficult, so what would you make of the chances to land on that category? Zhang Yi wasn't confident either. All he did was stare at the slot machine that was coming to a stop, hoping for a miracle to happen. 729. A grand prize is drawn. A moment later, the spinning of the slot machine's windows started slowing down. The icons slowly slid down one by one, coming to a halt. Now, 3 of the icons could be seen clearly. They were respectively, the stats category icon, another stats category icon, and finally, an empty icon. From his experience, Zhang Yi analyzed that the slot machine would stop on one of those 3 icons. Body A. The first stats category icon slid past without stopping. Zhang Yi's mouth was getting dry. Stop. That's enough. With the movement speed of a tortoise, Body A, the second stats category icon did not stick. Under Zhang Yi's speechless gaze, it also slid down and the slot machine finally came to a stop on the next icon. Empty. Nothing came out. Zhang Yi looked up in anger. How infuriating. Special category? This new lottery draw system made it so that it would even be very difficult to win a prize. Did he really have to resort to activating the Lucky Halo? Zhang Yi could feel the pinch. After all, the 10 million reputation points he had just spent had been flushed down the drain. This wasn't a small sum of reputation points whatsoever. Like the previous 2 times when he got the empty category, Zhang Yi had wanted to save on using the Lucky Halo at that time as it would cost a lot of reputation points just to activate it. However, in the end, not only did he not save any reputation points, he even wasted them. If he only knew, he would have activated the Lucky Halo right from the start. Even though it might cost more reputation points, at least he would be guaranteed to win a prize. It's time to play again. But I'm not going to believe this shit. Zhang Yi was triggered. This guy was basically being competitive with himself now. He deliberately chose not to activate the Lucky Halo and wanted to see if he would actually not end up with any prize. Again. Zhang Yi spent another 10 million reputation points and tapped the lottery draw button angrily. The slot machine started moving. It cycled and cycled, making lots of noise. This time, Zhang Yi chose to simply not look at it. He turned away and lit a cigarette, then took out his cell phone and fiddled with it. The virtual screen moved along shakily with the movement of the game ring on his pinky while Zhang Yi insistently refused to look at it. Finally, he heard a ding that signaled the end lottery draw round. Only then did Zhang Yi quickly look over. When he saw the results, he laughed loudly. This time, he finally won a prize. The slot machine had stopped at the consumption category icon. Treasure chest, medium, was rewarded. Zhang Yi lowered his head and opened the treasure chest lid. It was a bright and blinding sight, then with a flash, the brightness faded away and he could see a white card inside the treasure chest. It was suspended in midair within the chest, spinning around on its own axis. The card's border was even beautifully patterned. He picked up the item and saw its explanation text. Specified category lottery draw ticket, white, 1. Upon activation, the category of a lottery draw prize can be specified, but limited only to the consumption category, stats category, and skills category. This does not include the special category of prizes. Specified category? Does that mean that after using this ticket, other than specifying the special category of prizes, any other category could be chosen? This item seemed like it wasn't too bad. After Zhang Yi analyzed it for a long time, he felt that this item was really quite valuable. Although the ticket might not look like it was worth 10 million reputation points and did not feel like it had much use, but when you think about it carefully, yes, it was really no fucking use at all. What lousy item was this? Does it need to be such a lousy item in terms of its cost-to-performance ratio? Even if this card could specify the category of prizes and prevent the chance of landing on an empty icon, making it possible to be assured of the prize for the lottery draw, it was an item that was totally not worth the reputation points he paid for it with. If there was no such thing as the Lucky Halo, it might have been okay. But since Zhang Yi had the godly upgraded Lucky Halo, this item he had just received was truly of little use to him. What this ticket could achieve, the Lucky Halo could do the same. It wouldn't even need as many reputation points to get the same results. Yet this ticket took 10 million reputation points to get from the lottery draw. The only advantage this ticket had was that it could specify the category of prizes he wanted. However, Zhang Yi had never had an objective when playing the lottery draw, neither was he picky about what categories he could get. It didn't matter what he received, as long as it was useful. That was why, with the condition of the ticket not being able to grant the special category of prizes, the item was really of little use to Zhang Yi. Its cost-to-performance ratio was very poor. He was really down on his luck today. No way, I won't believe this. Having used up so many reputation points by now, yet the returns were so barren, Zhang Yi was naturally very unhappy and unsatisfied. He wanted to give it another spin, except that he did not insist on being so stubborn this time around. He was ready to activate the Lucky Halo and put it to use. He had to ensure the success rate and quality of the lottery draw prize, otherwise, how could he do justice to all the hard work he had put into the making of the voice? All of his reputation points were earned by sweating blood and tears for his work. He went to the bathroom to wash his face and hands before returning to his bedroom. When he sat back down on his bed, he immediately opened up his inventory and looked for that item, the specified category lottery draw ticket, white, and used it. Confirm usage of item. Zhang Yi tapped yes. Please choose your specified category of items in the correct lottery draw version. Zhang Yi chose it for lottery draw, too, and then hesitated for a moment before finally choosing to get a consumption category prize. Confirm, cancel. Zhang Yi tapped confirm. The next moment, when the ticket was activated, it glowed white and then shattered into a million pieces. The now glowing white dots of light slowly floated toward the slot machine and dived into the lottery draw, 2, button, activating the lottery draw interface. Zhang Yi was in no hurry to begin the lottery draw and instead went over to the merchant shop interface. He took a deep breath and tapped the Lucky Halo, upgraded, activating it. In an instant, a white halo hovered over his forehead as it emitted a pulsing glow that rippled outwards. That effect looked amazing and cool. -100,000. -100,000. The Lucky Halo had already started to deduct reputation points as it went down 100,000 reputation points every second. Zhang Yi did not waste time enjoying his suave look any longer. He knew that every second was valuable, so he quickly went back to the lottery draw, 2, interface. This is? He suddenly saw something he hadn't noticed before. At the bottom right corner of the slot machine, there was a lever-like mechanism unlike the handle lever of the slot machine. This lever was instead smaller by several times, and because the slot machine had many design patterns and colors on it, if one did not look carefully, one would probably have ignored it. It was clear that this smaller lever had been there all along, only that Zhang Yi had not noticed it before. What would this do? He had to give it a try. Zhang Yi cautiously placed his hand over it and touched it, then pushed it upwards once. It resulted in a text display appearing. Additional stakes, total additional stakes, 1. Zhang Yi blinked, then pushed the lever downwards. Reduced stakes, total additional stakes, 0. With that, Zhang Yi understood what was going on. This was the additional stakes lever. It was similar to the additional stakes button in Lottery Draw 1, except its interface and operating manner was different, though its function was more or less the same. So it seemed that Lottery Draw 2 also had an additional stakes function. Since Zhang Yi had his lucky halo activated at the moment, and with the specified category lottery draw ticket in play, you could say that he was already heavily invested. Naturally, it would be a waste if he only managed to win a single prize. Zhang Yi knew that time waited for no man, so he acted quickly and put in some additional stakes. After he added 10 additional stakes at a cost of 100 million reputation points, Zhang Yi finally started the lottery draw. He pulled the lever and activated the slot machine. The icons slid down one by one at a very fast pace. All of the icons were without exception displaying the same thing. Consumption category. Consumption category. Consumption category. Throughout, he could see that every icon was the same, showing the consumption category icon. But in fact, there were differences between them because behind each consumption category icon was a corresponding treasure chest, and the items in those treasure chests surely had to be different. But since this was not something he could see from the outside, Zhang Yi did not know which one was good and which one was bad. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Soon, he learned of the result. The slot machine window's final displayed icon was one of the consumption category icons. Zhang Yi tapped the 10 treasure chest, medium, that were all the same size and opened them all at once. But what shocked Zhang Yi was that the items in the opened treasure chests were, in a never-seen-before phenomenon, the exact same item as the previous lottery draw. Nothing like this had ever happened to him before. Specified category lottery draw ticket, white, times 10. It was this lousy thing again? And it's even 10 of them this time? This bro spent 100 million worth of reputation points on this. Zhang Yi was falling apart. He had even resorted to activating the lucky halo this time, so why did it end up this way? Why the hell would I need so many specified category tickets? However, just as Zhang Yi was about to throw a tantrum and swear, a change occurred in the tickets. The 10 specified category tickets started glowing and a line of words appeared without warning. 10 lottery draw tickets have been gathered. Confirm merge, yes, no. Zhang Yi was taken aback by this and subconsciously tapped yes. The 10 white cards were suddenly shredded and turned into specks of lights floating in the air. After a brief moment, they suddenly started to merge together. After that finished, a black card appeared. Zhang Yi stretched out his hand with surprise and took it. Specified category lottery draw ticket, black. Upon activation, all categories of lottery draw prizes can be specified. All? All categories? So does that mean it includes the special category too? Zhang Yi swore out loud, then broke out into laughter. This certainly took an interesting twist from despair to hope. It was too goddamn exciting. 100 million reputation points in exchange for a prize in the special category of the upgraded lottery system that could give him the right to purchase items from the merchant shop? Was it worth it? Of course it was worth it. It was way too worth it. Zhang Yi was then suddenly reminded that his lucky halo was still activated and 10,000 reputation points were still getting deducted with each passing second. Immediately, he focused, and without hesitating, he activated the black card that was just formed a moment ago. This time, he did not put in any additional stakes as the special category prizes were not items but the right to purchase items from the merchant shop. Even if he were to increase it by 100 stakes, the right to purchase items would still be the same quantity. That would just waste his reputation points. 10 million reputation points were spent in an instant. The lottery draw, too, slot machine started shaking. Looking at the icons on the slot machine as they speedily slid down the slot machine's windows, Zhang Yi was in awe of it all. The reason was none other than that all of the icons on them were now the same. Special category. They were all special category icons. Seeing all of those icons densely packed together, it would thrill any who saw it. This bro had used up almost all of his reputation points for this now, so it better be something good. 730 a grand prize is drawn. And he was full of anticipation. In addition to his anticipation, he also felt very nervous. Zhang Yi did not even blink and just stared steadily at the slot machine, waiting for it to come to a stop. Whether it was a positive or negative outcome, he had already placed all of his bets on it. If he could get his ideal items purchasing right from the merchant shop, It would be the greatest result that Zhang Yi had experienced since he received the game ring. But if he received the right to purchase an item that was basically useless to him, then it would be the worst result in the entire history of Zhang Yi's lottery draw experience. Heaven? Or hell? It all depended on this outcome. Finally, after what seemed like more than an hour, the slot machine came to a stop after spinning for a long time. It stopped at one of the special category icons. Ding! The item came out. Received purchasing rights at the merchant shop, invisibility, upgraded, invisibility? And it was even the upgraded version? Zhang Yi's heart was pumping much harder now. He quickly went to the merchant shop and deactivated the lucky halo, upgraded, first before tapping on invisibility, upgraded, to check out what it was really about. The new item was represented by an icon that was a half-transparent, pudding-like symbol that could have been either hieroglyphic text or a pictograph. The instructive text was displayed below, but the introduction of the item did not talk much about the invisibility item's function and effect in detail. All it mentioned was how it would help the player achieve a state of invisibility. As for its activation, it was the same as the lucky halo. It would start when it got activated, and stop when it got deactivated. It was again an item whose usage was counted by the second. Every second that it was used, it would cost 100,000 reputation points. Zhang Yi cried out. It was yet another item that would suck up all his reputation points. When he had first received the game ring last year, he received an invisibility potion during a lottery draw once. Back then, he used it up at the landlady Andy's house and was nearly discovered by Rao Aizen as well. Luckily, he managed to escape at that time. This was why he was not unfamiliar with becoming invisible since he had done it once before. At that time, the effect of the invisibility potion could be said to be quite powerful, but the only disadvantage was that the user had to get naked for it to work, since if the clothing was not removed, it would give the whole thing away. But for this invisibility, upgraded, that he had just received from the lottery draw, what difference would there be from the unupgraded version of invisibility? Zhang Yi was not sure. He needed to test it out, and luckily for him, there were still some reputation points left over. Although it wasn't a lot, it should at least be enough for him to test out the item. There was a full-length mirror in the wardrobe of his bedroom. Zhang Yi went over and opened it and stood in front of the mirror. Then, he activated the invisibility, upgraded. Invisibility was activated. Minus 100,000. Minus 100,000. His reputation points were being deducted. At the same time, Zhang Yi saw himself enveloped in a flash of light, and in that second, in his shocked gaze his reflection in the mirror suddenly disappeared. His hair was invisible. His face could not be seen. His legs disappeared as well. This upgraded version could even make his clothes invisible? It masked the entire body? Just when Zhang Yi thought that this was how it was, he discovered that there was a part of him that could still be seen. His shoes. He took a few steps and observed the pair of shoes seemingly floating around in the air, an image that looked strange and out of place. Zhang Yi frowned at this. Why was it that his clothes could turn invisible but not his shoes? It looked like his socks also turned invisible? Could it be? Zhang Yi analyzed it and came down to one possible reason for this to happen. He immediately took action and bent down, putting his hands into the shoes to push down his socks a little. The reason for this was to simply push his socks further down so that his ankles could come into contact with his shoes. As expected, the moment when his ankles came into direct contact with his shoes, the shoes also instantaneously become invisible. They couldn't be seen anymore. Zhang Yi had achieved perfect invisibility without any problems. So it seemed like the condition for clothing to turn invisible along with him was that it has to be in direct contact with his skin. The reason his shoes did not turn invisible earlier was due to him wearing socks and that those came between his feet and shoes. With this understanding, even in the event he had to wear layers of clothing during the spring weather, as long as Zhang Yi allowed those additional layers, sleeves or collars to come in contact with his skin, he could still turn invisible at any time. This was way too easy to use. Just this item alone made the entire lottery draw worthwhile. This function of this item had greatly exceeded Zhang Yi's expectations and imagination. Turning invisible whenever he wanted? Having the ability to disappear if he wanted to disappear? Zhang Yi felt that this was basically a godly technique. The only disadvantage it had was that it cost too much to use, at a rate of 100,000 reputation points per second. Oh right, invisibility is still on. I should quickly try out other things as well. Zhang Yi did not wish to be wasteful, so he quickly walked over to the desk and picked up a pen. Suddenly, the pen disappeared into thin air. Then he used his other hand to touch the desk's surface and the rather large desk also became invisible, leaving the computer, books, and stationery looking like they were suspended in midair. As expected, anything he touched would turn invisible as long as the item he touched was in general a complete item. Even though the computer and some books were placed on the desk, but since they were not a part of the whole, the invisibility effect did not transfer over. As for what could be considered a complete item, Zhang Yi didn't know how the game ring would determine it. Zhang Yi could only guess at it. But for now, this was all he needed to know. Seeing that his overall reputation points were getting smaller and smaller, Zhang Yi immediately put a stop to his experimentation and deactivated invisibility. Then he sat on his bed, trying to calm his excitement. This was great. What a grand prize he had gotten. The heavens had not forsaken me after all. This 100 million worth of reputation points was at least not spent for nothing. Thinking about it, all of the reputation points he had gathered over many days were used up. In exchange, he received 100 of each of the basics of directing and camera technique skill experience books, as well as a godly technique that was invisibility. All of this left Zhang Yi feeling extremely satisfied. Opening up the game ring's inventory interface, Zhang Yi started taking stock of the items he had in it. Difficulty adjustment die, ×1. X-ray vision eye drops, ×1. Pause game, ×1. Stamina potion, ×10 plus, 1 up, ×1. Purchasable items in merchant shop, memory search capsule, Teiji fist skill experience book, lucky halo, upgraded, invisibility, upgraded. He also had lockpicking, calligraphy, higher mathematics, computer programming, network technology, basic directing, and other directing skills. The current Zhang Yi was no longer the same person he was a year ago when he had nothing at all. Right now, he was equipped with many skills and items, though not fully armed to the teeth yet. But at least it was still incrementally being added to. His cards were increasingly getting stronger every day and he was getting closer and closer to his goal of becoming an S-list celebrity. When he laid down on his bed, Zhang Yi was full of an unprecedented confidence. He fell asleep contented. 731 Meeting Wu Zeking's Family Chapter 731, Meeting Wu Zeking's Family, the next day. With his next program still undetermined, Zhang Yi went ahead with his vacation. After breakfast, Zhang Yi was in a very happy mood. He hummed a tune that sounded like a Jinny Undigu or a verse from an introductory poem that no one could really make out. Inside his bedroom, he pretentiously set up a desk and placed the 4 treasures of the study on it. It was rare of him to be in the mood to practice calligraphy. Although his house was not big and did not have much space, he could still make do with it. Since it was only for practice, it did not matter how big the space was as long as there was a brush, paper, and ink. 1, 2, he picked up a brush and dipped it in the ink. Then he smoothly wrote out the song he was humming. Storytelling, acting to persuade people. Walking the middle of 3 roads. What goes around comes around. Experience is. As he sang, his mother knocked on the door from the hallway. Don't sing anymore, you're too noisy. Zhang Yi snorted, what's so noisy about it? This is art. His father also said something at this moment. Chenchen wants to go out. What does she want to go out for? Just let her stay home and watch television, Zhang Yi said. The door opened and Chenchen walked in. Zhang Yi, I want to go play with my classmates. I've already arranged to meet up with them. Zhang Yi smacked his lips disapprovingly. It's such a mess out there. I don't want you running around outside. Chenchen was not having any of it. Zhang Yi, send me there. His mother said, Chenchen is going to her classmate's house. A few of her classmates have arranged to have lunch at Mengmeng's house. The place is not far away, so send Chenchen over, and pick her up in the afternoon. Zhang Yi exclaimed, I'm busy right now. His mother stared at him and said, what are you busy with? I'm dabbling in the arts, Zhang Yi said confidently. Chenchen came over and looked at the calligraphy on the Zhuan paper, then let out a contemptuous her. His mother seethed. You call writing some crappy words dabbling in the arts? Then if I steam some buns, can I call it scientific research? Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and send the child there. Her classmates are waiting for her. I just got off the phone with Mengmeng's mother and she informed me that they are already preparing lunch. Zhang Yi said helplessly, all right, I understand. After that, he looked at Chenchen and groaned, you only know how to cause trouble for me. Old Drow is too much. She said she would return in a month at most, but it's already been 3 months and there's still no news of her. This bro is going to become a professional nanny soon. Let's go then, little grandaunt. He put on his sunglasses and a face mask. Zhang Yi held Chenchen's hand and led her downstairs. As Mengmeng's house was not situated too far, as it was on Zixin Road, he decided to not drive and just walked with Chenchen straight to Mengmeng's house. Today's weather was not bad. The weather was cooling and there were clear skies above them. It was quite rare to see clear blue skies in Beijing these days, so it was also a good chance to take a stroll and enjoy themselves. They reached their destination. It was an apartment complex that still hadn't been torn down, and was located inside an alleyway. Chenchen. Chenchen is here. Ah, and Uncle Zhang. Hello, Uncle Zhang. Her young friends all ran out to greet them. Zhang Yi smiled and said, "Hello, everyone." Zhang Yi had met these children before during the school's parent-teacher meetings. They were in the same class. There were 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. However, he was unable to call them by name. Mengmeng's parents also came outside. "Yo, Teacher Zhang is here. Teacher Zhang, quick, come into the house quickly and have a seat." Mengmeng's parents were very friendly and rather polite. Zhang Yi quickly gestured with his hands. "There's no need for that. Let the children play by themselves. I've got to go. Chenshin is a naughty girl, so if anything happens, please be tolerant of her. Sorry for giving you additional trouble." Mengmeng's mother laughed and said, "It's no trouble at all. Chenshin has always been Mengmeng's closest friend." Mengmeng's father said, "Since The Voice has finished broadcasting, we don't know what other shows there are to watch anymore. Is your new program starting production yet?" "It should be soon," Zhang Yi said. He made small talk for a long time. Chenshin pulled on Zhang Yi's sleeves impatiently and said, "Zhang Yi, you can go now." Zhang Yi said in a speechless manner, "Whoa, you're chasing me away now?" Everyone was tickled. "Alright, I'll come back and pick you up later." Zhang Yi reminded Chenshin again to be obedient and not to cause any trouble. Then he left and strolled east. Actually, he was very worried about Chenshin, even though he always deriding her by picking at her faults. However, when the moment the kid got out of his sight, Zhang Yi could not quite get used to it and was always afraid that she would cause trouble or something bad would happen. He was worried because this little one was very different from the kids her age and that she should not be assessed by thinking of her as a child. He walked and walked. He had nearly reached Tower and Pavilion Gardens North Gate. It was just ahead. Just as he was thinking about whether he should go to the park to enjoy the view of the lake, he spotted in his peripheral vision a BMW 7 Series parked on the opposite side of the road. It looked very familiar. As this color of BMW 7 Series cars were not commonly seen around the area, coupled with the fact that Old Wu also lived nearby, Zhang Yi immediately walked closer to take a look at the license plate. Hey, so it really was Wu Zeking's car. What a coincidence. And so he crossed the road and stood beside the car, looking around and waiting. About 5 minutes later, Wu Zeking's figure appeared from a market in the wide but dark alleyway, carrying large and small bags of stuff and walking in the direction of the BMW. Zhang Yi waved at her. "Old Wu." Wu Zeking looked up with a smile and said, "What are you doing here?" "I was just taking a stroll when I saw your car." Zhang Yi pointed at the BMW. "You came to buy some food? Isn't there a Wu Mart store on Ping Street?" Old Wu said, "That place is a bit more expensive." "You're not working today?" "I have a half day and need to go to the office in the afternoon." "Are you on break too?" "Yes, the entire program team is on break for 2 days." Zhang Yi glanced at the things she was carrying and asked, "You bought so much stuff? You have visitors at your house?" "My relatives came to visit me." Old Wu placed the bags into the car and invited, "Do you want to come over to my place?" Zhang Yi said nervously, "Aren't your relatives at your house? How can I go there?" Old Wu smiled. "What about it? It's not like there's a conflict of interest there. Let's go." Zhang Yi hesitated. "About that, I don't think it's appropriate. Our relationship is still under wraps, so I'm thinking when the occasion is right, we could officially." Old Wu smiled and looked at him. "Are you afraid of going?" When he heard this, Zhang Yi let out an uncontrolled laugh. He was a person who could not take provocation lightly and immediately got ruffled. He threw his head forward, cupping his ears as if he did not hear her clearly. What did you just say?" "I seem to have heard you say that I was afraid." "Afraid of going?" "Me? Afraid of going?" "Ayo. Old Wu, why are you so funny?" "Me? Afraid of going? I have nothing to be afraid of. Isn't that a huge joke?" "Ayo, this temper of mine, hurry up. Get in the car. I must definitely go to your house today. Let's go. Start driving." He got into the BMW and sat in the passenger seat. Old Wu. Several pedestrians who were nearby also looked over, wondering to themselves what had gotten into the person wearing a face mask. Old Wu drove the car off. They reached Old Wu's house within 3 minutes. When the car was parked, Zhang Yi coughed and immediately lost all his energy. "Do I really have to go in?" Old Wu smiled and said, "Yeah." "Your relatives are all here?" "No, only my elder sister is here." "Hi, you should have told me earlier." After getting out of the car, Zhang Yi straightened his back. He was not terrified of seeing Old Wu's elder sister, more worried that he would have to see her parents. If her entire family and relatives were all here, Zhang Yi wouldn't have dared to come as the time to meet them was not ripe yet. With his current status and reputation, if Old Wu's family saw him, they would probably demand he break up with Old Wu. Getting Old Wu to agree to be his girlfriend was only the first step. If he wanted to marry old Wu, then his path ahead was sure to be beset with difficulties. In the villa. When they entered the house, Zhang Yi saw a plump figure. "You're back?" The plump woman looked over. Old Wu put down the groceries and said, "I brought a friend over. We happened to bump into each other on the way just now." Zhang Yi immediately said, "Hello." He had already removed his sunglasses and face mask. The fat woman was stunned. "Ayo. Hey, isn't his teacher Zhang? Zeking, you're friends with Zhang Yi? Why didn't you say so earlier?" Old Wu remarked curiously, "Didn't I say that before? Didn't I invite little Zhang to join Peking University? I was also the one who kinda linked him for the endorsement of Little Mo's Brain Gold commercial." "You." Zhang Yi opened his mouth to say something, but he did not know how to address her. No one knew that he was in a relationship with old Wu, but he still couldn't possibly call her auntie, right? The seniority was also a little bit messy in this case. The woman standing in front of him had somewhat similar features to Wu Zeking, but they had a wide age gap. She looked in her 40s to 50s. He remembered that old Wu had previously mentioned that she was fourth in her family. She had 2 elder sisters and an elder brother. This plump lady was likely the eldest sister in her family. Thankfully, the plump woman said, "Just call me Fat Sis. That's what everyone calls me." She even had a nickname? Zhang Yi said in a slightly reserved manner, "Sure, then I will address you as Fat Sis." Old Wu gently said, "You two chat first, I will start preparing the food. Some of the food is quite troublesome to make and I'll have to fry them in oil first before marinating them." Fat Sis waved her off with her hands. "Go ahead, I will chat with little Zhang." Then she enthusiastically dragged Zhang Yi and sat on the sofa. "If I knew that you were so close to my younger sister, I would have invited you to our home to have a meal long ago. You might not know this, but I have seen all of your TV shows, especially The Voice. I got such a kick out of watching it that I even caught it online several times. It was simply out of this world." Zhang Yi said, "Thanks for your support. How's Qian Pingfen? I liked him the most. Why didn't he win first place? Is there any conspiracy behind that?" "No, there isn't." "Really? A record label has already signed little Qian. From what I understand, he will probably release a single sometime later, so that could be considered his official debut." "Are you familiar with Luoyu?" "Yes, I am. Everyone claimed that she's a lesbian. Is that true?" "Hey, of course it is not true. Those are just rumors." Wu Zeking's eldest sister was quite a talkative person. She could speak about almost anything and was commenting on everything. Coincidentally, Zhang Yi was also similarly good at chatting. The way they spoke and their natures felt quite similar. The more they talked, the more it felt like they had really compatible personalities. The whole of the living room was filled with the sounds of old Wu on the chopping board and the chattering between Zhang Yi and Fat Sis. About a full hour later, Fat Sis said, "Little Zhang, you're quite a nice person. We must become friends." Zhang Yi also said, "That's for sure. If you need any help in the future, just tell me. Now that you mention it, I really do have something I need your help with." Fat Sis shifted and said bluntly, "I saw the Brain Gold products you're endorsing for my nephew, Little Mo, selling like hotcakes. In the past, his health products company was only valued at 1/10 of my company. But after having benefited from his association with you, his company has become the market leader in health products." Then that kid started blabbering every day about his goal of getting his company listed on the stock market. As someone senior to him, I'm also feeling the pressure now. Little Zhang, why don't you become my company's spokesperson as well? We can also aim to get listed on the stock market. Zhang Yi answered without even thinking. Sure. In reality, Fat Sis was just speaking in jest and she did not expect Zhang Yi to really accept. After being stunned for a moment, she said, "I'm serious." Zhang Yi laughed and said, "I'm not kidding either." 1. Jinni Undegu, storytelling in Beijing dialect with drum accompaniment. 2. The introductory poem is used in crosstalk performances when the crosstalk actors make an appearance on stage. It is usually done in a softer volume, just enough to grab the attention of the audience so that they fully focus on trying to listen to it and not talk among themselves. It is used to quiet an audience before a performance. Also used in opera for when a character first appears. 732 The Birth of Plants vs. Zombies. Chapter 732, The Birth of Plants vs. Zombies. An idle chat had turned into business talk. Wu Zeking's elder sister was likely a woman of her word, so since she brought up the issue as the conversation had somehow steered toward it, she was probably really hoping to get an influential celebrity's endorsement for her company. At the same time, Zhang Yi was not the type to plan things. He just took things as they came and was also a more easygoing type of person. As a result, they hit it off very well. They settled an important matter in just a few lines of idle chatter. Fat Sis thought that this was somewhat hasty, not because of herself, but because Zhang Yi had promised her so freely. Therefore, she decided to give him a brief introduction to her company. I set up my company some years ago with a partner, with me being the majority shareholder. The company is in the PC gaming industry, and mainly focuses on browser and puzzle games. We're just a small, indie company that cannot compete against those large video game publishers who deal with huge game projects. However, even though we're an indie company, we aren't that small either. We do have a name carved out for ourselves in the industry and have ambitions to get into bigger projects. Some time ago, after our company completed long-term research into puzzle games, we came up with a new project we have invested heavily into. We hope that it can compete with the top dogs in the market, but as you know about the video game industry these days, the competition is very fierce and depends heavily on advertising campaigns. In many of the recently published games, the ad budget has even exceeded the game development budget for some companies, so we can see just how important ad campaigns are. Zhang Yi nodded as he listened. Fat Sis insinuated, we have also discussed this in our last few meetings and we're considering several celebrities, hoping to discuss an endorsement deal with them. But those were all just small-time celebrities. For a big shot like you, truthfully, we haven't even given it any consideration since the endorsement fees are so high, therefore. Zhang Yi suddenly interrupted, I can sense that you're insulting me. Fat Sis said, not at all. Zhang Yi said unhappily, but you are. What big shot? What famous person? I'm just a small-time celebrity. What about the endorsement fee? Can you not ridicule me like that? But we have to talk about the money no matter what. If you wish to talk about money, then I won't be doing the endorsement for you. Little Zhang, are you looking down on me? Not at all. But you are. If we don't discuss the endorsement fee, I can't possibly make you do it pro bono, can I? Old Wu is my friend, so how can I ask you for any money? Why are you so funny? I don't need a single cent. All I need is a word from you and we can sign the contract. Little Zhang, it's meaningless if you put it that way. Business is business, even if you're my sister's friend. Anything between the two of you remains so, but business is business. But I think of you as a friend too, unless you don't treat me as one. It's you who's not treating me as your friend. What you're saying is totally pointless. It's you who's being pointless. It's just an endorsement for a game. All you need is to take a few photos of me and publish them, so why are you still bringing up the issue of money with me? Ayo, aren't you getting tired of this talk? The two of them nearly started a fight, speaking in quick succession. But of course, it wasn't really a fight. The two of them were actually speaking with humility in every line they said. This kind of a conversation style could only be seen in Beijing throughout the entire country. It was typical of the Beijing style and couldn't really be found anywhere else. Until noon, the two of them squabbled over the issue of the endorsement fee. 3 million. I can't afford it if it's any more than that. I won't take a single cent from you. With the reputation of Zhang Yi out there, it's worth 3 million, so that's settled. What reputation? I don't have any reputation at all. Who the hell would know who I am? You're being pointless again, little Zhang. Really pointless. In the kitchen, the food for lunch had been prepared. Old Wu set the table and placed the dishes on it. Then she looked over with an air of gracefulness and said, enough, you two. You've been squabbling for the past 2.5 hours, ever since I began preparing lunch. Do you two still have energy? Only then did Fat Sis take a breather, take her cup of tea from the table, and gulp down the cold tea in several mouthfuls. I was dying of thirst. Zhang Yi, finding it to be the right time now, said, so it's settled then, Fat Sis. Old Wu agreed, little Zhang's not an outsider anyways. If he's willing to endorse your game, just go ahead and use him. The endorsement fee can just be a symbolic one. Aren't the finances for your company a little tight? Fat Sis sighed. That's not right at all. Little Zhang might be a B-list celebrity, but everyone in the industry knows that he commands an A-list endorsement fee, especially in the wake of The Voice. No one would believe it if his fees don't reach several million. Even a payout of 3 million is too shabby, Old Wu laughed. At worst, you can wait until the game is released and everything has stabilized before giving little Zhang his share through a share of the profits. It's not really that big of a deal. Fat Sis said, we still don't know how the game will perform in the current market. The National Gaming Expo is coming up, and the demo version hasn't even been completed yet. There are still many details and kinks that need to be ironed out, so if it fails when the time comes, how would I be able to compensate little Zhang? They began eating. Zhang Yi was getting tired from talking. He sat at the dining table and immediately picked up the chopsticks to start eating. Old Wu also sat down, speaking as she ate, I don't know anything about video games, but you can discuss it with little Yi. He has a quick mind and many ideas as well. Right, I can advise you on some things, Zhang Yi said, still chewing on his food. Fat Sis did not take this to heart, and even picked up a piece of meat and put it in Zhang Yi's bowl. She said, game development is quite different from making TV shows. They are two completely different fields, so even though I know little Zhang's planning skills are very strong, it's unlikely that he knows much about video games. The genre of this new game that we're developing is a type of strategy puzzle game in which the player can command a group of soldiers. There will be various types of weapons available while the enemy will be the computerized group of soldiers. The different types of weapons and soldiers will deal a range of different damage to the enemy. The player's objective will be to capture a central flag on the map, but even if they do, they will just advance to the next stage where it becomes harder and harder to win. Of course, there will also be boss characters for them to come up against. She gave a general overview of the game's rules. Finally, Fat Sis said with a headache, the game's final version has generally been completed now, but regarding the battle between the soldiers, many of the staff at the company feel that it's too traditional and boring after they play-tested the game. There's no novelty to it, nor are the features outstanding. However, the advantage that we have is that our gameplay is quite strong, with many stages available. The preliminary design has 68 different levels, so the only thing left to ponder is how to make the game more interesting and creative. Listening up to here, Zhang Yi raised his head and blinked several times. Does it have to be about soldiers fighting a battle? Fat Sis glanced at him. It doesn't have to be. We can change it any time we want. Zhang Yi hesitated for a moment and smiled, then let me share with you an idea. Tell me what you think. Go ahead. Fat Sis did not take him too seriously. When it came to his girlfriend's family, Zhang Yi was unconditional in giving. Could we change the soldiers that the player will be controlling to different types of plants and fungi that have their own unique offensive or defensive capabilities? And the enemies would be changed into different types of zombies. Fat Sis was stunned. Plants? Zombies? Zhang Yi stopped eating. He put down his chopsticks and found a pen and paper, and started scribbling on it. The gameplay that I'm talking about is similar to your game overall. The difference is that the player-controlled assets would be static, which means that it's essentially a kind of tower defense game. With the scary zombies about to invade, each type of zombie would have its own unique features. For example, the buckethead zombie is extremely resistant to damage, while the digger zombie can dig beneath the yard to bypass plants that are planted on the lawn, and so on. With every explanation, Zhang Yi sketched out simple forms to illustrate it to Fat Sis. The player will have to defend against the zombies by placing different types of plants on the lawn. There will be several dozen types of plants with different characteristics, like the cherry bomb that can instantly kill all enemies within a certain range, while the chomper can devour the zombie closest to it. The players will have to strategically plan their placement of the plants in accordance to the weaknesses of each type of zombie to gain victory. Fat Sis was so enthralled by the explanation that she no longer cared to eat. She anxiously asked, will there be enough stages though? Why would there not be enough? You mentioned that the game your company designed has 68 levels. In my opinion, that isn't what I'd call enough. If it is according to my design, every plant type would have different attacks, special abilities, and purchase costs. It's also a developing process, with puzzle pieces to collect. There can be different game modes, such as adventure mode, survival mode, puzzle mode, mini-games, a zen garden, etc. He explained the overall concept of each mode before finally saying, then, including different areas on top of day, like night, pool, fog, and roof, I dare say that this type of game has levels that are virtually limitless. In the half-hour talk, Zhang Yi sped through his explanation, speaking with more and more excitement as the number of pages he used to illustrate his proposal increased to more than a dozen on the dining table. Stage layout, plant names, zombie characteristics and design. Almost everything was covered in detail. Fat Sis was incredibly stunned and amazed. What is the title of this game? Zhang Yi smiled and said, I hope you can name it. Plants vs. Zombies. 733 The Busy Zhang Yi. Chapter 733, The Busy Zhang Yi, Afternoon. The design of Plants vs. Zombies had been brought out by Zhang Yi. At the beginning, it was only Fat Sis who had been listening to Zhang Yi's explanation with an excited look on her face. But as time passed, Old Wu's villa was becoming more and more lively as people knocked on her door one after another. A youth entered the villa, looking very puzzled. Fat Sis. Fat Sis was the one who opened the door for him. She complained, little son, why are you so slow? The youth gave a wry smile. I rushed over from the company as soon as I got your call, but this address was quite difficult to find. Hurry up and come in. Fat Sis waved him in. The youth suddenly noticed Zhang Yi sitting in the living room. Shocked, he said, ah. Teacher Zhang Yi? Don't be surprised by everything, come over here and listen to what Teacher Zhang has to say. Fat Sis's title for Zhang Yi had also changed. She no longer called him Little Zhang. Dong, dong, dong. Someone had arrived again. Fat Sis, what's the urgent matter? A middle-aged man arrived. Old Lu, you're here at the right time. Quickly come and listen. Fat Sis said. The middle-aged man essentially did not know why he was here. Huh? Listen to what? There's a new concept for our new game. Fat Sis said. The middle-aged man wondered, hasn't the concept for our new game already been confirmed? Fat Sis said, come here and listen, then you'll understand. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The middle-aged man did not recognize Zhang Yi but found him rather familiar looking. It seemed to him that this was a celebrity but he couldn't remember the name. He found a chair and sat down. Zhang Yi was still explaining the concept, not caring who was joining the meeting. He just kept speaking, there's basically no limit to the levels in the survival and puzzle modes. The enemies come wave after wave, and as long as the player wants to keep playing, they can continue for 6 months to a year and it would still be playable. A linear, stage-clearing game can also be done this way. Each time that a stage has been cleared, the next one would just have its difficulty increased with more obstacles. Fat Sis anxiously asked, how do we avoid a loss of interest from gaming fatigue if the players can play forever? Zhang Yi laughed and said, that's easy. We just need to create an in-game store where plants puzzle pieces can be purchased. A player can also purchase premium plants and other items in the store. There are many ways that a player can earn money, like from growing a plant and then selling it back in the in-game store, or by completing challenges to increase your gold and silver coins amount. This is a kind of endowed progress that can hook a player into the game and increase their anticipation of what comes next. As for gameplay fatigue, mini-games can be added to negate that. Instead of letting the player control the plants, they will be controlling the zombies instead, using all the types of zombies to attempt to eat the enemy's plants. Then there are also mini-games like breaking vases and bowling. 1 person. 5 people. 10 people. The entire game development team from Fat Sis Company had come over. There were more than a dozen people sitting around in Old Wu's living room and all of them were listening to Zhang Yi's explanation of the game with their mouths agape. Everyone was also constantly throwing questions at Zhang Yi. A female white-collar worker dressed in a business attire asked, how many different variations of attack can the plants have? Wouldn't it get too monotonous? Zhang Yi answered, you can have as many as you want. For example, the cherry bomb can blow up all zombies in an area around it, the jalapeno can blow up enemies in an entire lane, some plants can shoot 2 or 3 attacks at once, some plants can attack targets in the air, some plants can block the path of the enemy, all kinds of attack variations can be created. A woman asked, wouldn't that game take up a very large size then? Is this even a puzzle game anymore? Zhang Yi said, it might sound complicated, but the concept of the game is actually very simple and not complex at all. As long as you create the game as I have envisioned it, the final product will probably be less than 100 megabytes. Not only did he talk, he also illustrated his ideas. Sunflower. Pea shooter. Cherry bomb. And so on and so forth. When everyone took a look at the sketches that Zhang Yi drew as well as the level settings he listed, an image of the game that he was describing formed in their heads, greatly pumping them up. Fat Sis slapped her thigh. Awesome. A lean-looking youth exclaimed, this game sounds so cool. Amazing. A middle-aged man also gasped. I've never thought that a simple thing like a puzzle game could be played this way. This is already miles ahead of our previous title, Soldier's Fury. That's right. This game is really going to be absolutely awesome. I agree. If we can really make this game, then it will surely be wonderful. Just listening to this makes my blood boil with excitement. All the innovation and game mechanics we were looking for is here, so it can be said that nothing is missing whatsoever. It's usually very difficult to avoid any shortcomings and defects in the development of a puzzle game, but none of that can be found anywhere in this game. Everyone made constant exclamations. Fat Sis looked at her company's staff. Everyone agrees that this is good? It's more than good. Yeah, this is a divine creation. Fat Sis, this game will surely get popular if we make and publish it. Besides, we already have a playable version we can use from Soldier's Fury. Most of the prep work is already done, so all we need to do now is modify the assets and reprogram some functions. Reusing the game engine won't be a problem, so we can directly base it upon that and it save ourselves loads of production time. I think if we do it fast enough and everything goes smoothly, we can come up with a demo version in time for this year's Game Expo. Everyone unanimously thought that this was a good game. In fact, they didn't just think that the game would be good. The game had already amazed them, and gave them an impulse to quickly develop it so that they could see for themselves how it would look. Fat Sis nodded and looked excitedly at Zhang Yi. Teacher Zhang, I really have to take my hat off to you this time. Zhang Yi happily said, I was just making up things along the way. At this moment, the thudding of footsteps came from the stairwell. Wu Zaking had changed and was carrying her bag with her down to the living room. Big sis, I'm going off to work then. Fat sis said, hurry, hurry. Let me use your house for a while. Little Zhang. Old Wu smiled and said, come with me, I need to speak with you. Sure. Zhang Yi excused himself and followed Wu Zaking outside the villa. They stood on the front yard. Zhang Yi asked, what's the matter, old Wu? Old Wu said in a gentle tone, my sister's company isn't that big, as for the endorsement fee. Before she could finish, Zhang Yi interrupted, hi, don't you think I know what to do already? Don't worry, I won't be charging your sister a single cent. We're all family and your sister is as good as my sister. Why would I still ask for any money from her? Why are you so funny? Okay, okay. You don't need to worry about such things, I know what to do. Old Wu laughed. Alright then, I'll let you work hard. Why are you still so courteous with me? Don't you still have work to handle at the office? Go to work already. I will definitely settle your sister's issue by the end of today. Zhang Yi proudly thumped his chest. Old Wu left and Zhang Yi came back inside the house. In the living room, Fat Sis and a few people were discussing something in low voices. When they saw Zhang Yi walking over, they immediately stopped. Fat Sis suddenly said, thank you everyone for coming over. Okay, everyone, you can go back for now. I will stay here and discuss things with Teacher Zhang. We'll talk again when I get back tonight for the meeting. Sure. Then we'll leave first. Teacher Zhang, goodbye. The group of over a dozen staff members said their farewells and left. Only Zhang Yi and Fat Sis were left in the house. Fat Sis looked at him and got straight to the point. Teacher Zhang, I don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll say whatever comes to mind and not hide my intentions. I really love the idea that you proposed just now, so I would like to buy the copyright to your proposal and make this game. Zhang Yi waved it off with a hand. If you treat me as a friend, don't talk to me about money. I was just randomly talking about this game idea that I had, so if you like it, please use it as you see fit. When the game is made, just don't forget to put my name into the credits. Fat Sis said firmly, that won't do. I would be taking advantage of you too much if I did that. Zhang Yi threw up his hands. I won't hide it from you either, Fat Sis. But to be honest, I don't need money. Even if I earn more, I won't be able to spend it. It's not that I am boasting, but among the C-list and above celebrities, I am the only one without an agent. I don't have a need for a management agency to find me any jobs and neither have I attended any commercial performances since my debut. You won't find someone else like me in the entire entertainment circle. Fat Sis said with a laugh, that I have heard before. If I wanted to earn money, I would be able to get enough by just taking on a few projects. Don't you think so? Zhang Yi explained, that's why I'm telling you to stop bringing up the issue of money with me. If you really must, then we can just do it the way old Wu mentioned. When your game sells well and becomes popular, you can share some of the profit with me. Fat Sis bit her lip and finally said, okay, then I will take advantage of you this once. Zhang Yi picked up the rough draft illustrations and notes on the table and arranged them properly, then handed it to her. Hold on to these. If there are any problems with the details, you can ask me again. Like the rate of fire of the plants, the attack and defense of the zombies, for questions like these, I can make a suitable attribute table. When it comes to game development, I'm an outsider. I don't understand computer programming either, but mocking up things like that is my expertise since I am in the field of mathematics after all. Great. Fat Sis felt fantastic now. Having accepted Zhang Yi's favor, she was no longer argumentative. In your concept, you mentioned an important game character, someone called Crazy Dave? He's the player's guide as well as the in-game store owner? Is that universal throughout the game? If that's the case, then I would suggest that we don't call him Dave or whatever. Why would we name our Chinese game character with a foreign name? I think we should just call him Crazy Zhang Yi instead and make you into a cartoon character. If Plants vs. Zombies truly becomes popular, then it would be able to bring you a lot of fame as well. Similarly, the game can also rub off on some of the reputation that you already have by borrowing your influence. We'll put this point into the contract. Since we're going to work together, we will do this well and put your endorsement right into the game itself. What do you think? Zhang Yi laughed, that sounds good. Okay, then it's settled. I'll go and prepare the contract now and get the profit-sharing details in as well. You don't need to worry over this. I'll be sure to get it all done. When do we sign the contract? Tomorrow? Sure, any time is fine with me. They had settled such an important affair within a few hours. Further, This agreement only came about because of a spontaneous conversation between the two parties, so that made it even more interesting. Zhang Yi could not have expected that just from him taking a child out and turning a corner on the way back, it could have led to him bringing out a tower defense game like Plants vs. Zombies and putting it into this world. Fat Sis and her staff had been discussing how this game might become popular and sell like hotcakes, but those were all just assumptions. However, for Zhang Yi, there wasn't any doubt. He knew that Plants vs. Zombies would definitely be popular. In fact, it would be popular not only in this country, it would even become very popular throughout the entire world. Zhang Yi did not have much desire for money. Being in the entertainment circle, what he placed more importance on was fame and visibility. Zhang Yi never learned about game development, and did not know how to do it, nor did he have the energy to handle something like that. The ideas he had for browser games or puzzle games from his previous world would have been left to rot in his mind in any case, since he did not have any use for them. But today's accidental stumble onto this project had opened yet another path for Zhang Yi. He did not know how to make games, but he could surely team up with someone who did. If he could become successful as a game producer and designer, then it would surely bring about a lot of popularity for him. Besides, Zhang Yi also had an endorsement agreement with them. If he could endorse a global phenomenon like this tower defense game, it would definitely help Zhang Yi increase his popularity and fame from sources that wouldn't have known him in the first place. Today, another door had opened for him. After Zhang Yi had crossed over into the education, crosstalk, mathematics, and advertising worlds, among others, he now turned his attention to the video game industry. He was officially marching into the puzzle games market. You couldn't find anyone else as flexible as him in the entire entertainment industry. 734 Chenshin Catches a Thief. Chapter 734, Chenshin Catches a Thief, elsewhere. In the afternoon, at Mengmeng's house. Mengmeng's mother asked, "Have you finished eating?" "Yes, I've finished." Mengmeng took a napkin and wiped her mouth. Mengmeng's father laughed and said, "You ate so little, why didn't you eat the vegetables? You should learn from Chenshin and not be picky about food. You can only grow taller and stronger if you do that." Mengmeng stuck out her tongue. "I don't like celery and chives." Little Fatso put down his chopsticks and said, "Auntie, uncle, I've finished too." Mengmeng's mother said politely, "Have some more, Auntie will serve you another bowl of rice." "It's enough, I really can't eat anymore." The terrified little Fatso waved his hands hastily. Another boy, little Zhao, said, "Chenshin, Mengmeng, let's go play outside?" Mengmeng nodded. Sure. Dad, Mom, then we will be going out now." Mengmeng's mother reminded them, "Watch out for cars, and don't go too far away. Just play around in the alleys so that I can call all of you back." "Okay," Mengmeng replied. The young children went out in their group. Little Fatso and Little Zhao brought a soccer ball with them and started kicking it around in the alley. Lian was riding on Mengmeng's small bicycle and was fighting with Mengmeng over who got to ride it in a fun manner. Chenshin glanced at them and strolled leisurely beside them with her hands behind her back like a small adult, not joining them in their activities. "Chenshin, come and play with us." Lian signaled for her to go over. Chenshin gave a scornful pout. "You guys play by yourselves." Mengmeng offered the small bicycle to Chenshin. "I'll let you ride it." Chenshin said, "That's not necessary. It's too childish and uninteresting." Mengmeng didn't know how to react. But isn't everyone playing with these things? What are the things that are not childish? At this moment, the two kids, Little Fatso and Little Zhao, who had gone to pick up the soccer ball from the entrance of the alleyway, returned. The two of them rushed back with nervous-looking expressions and looked very anxious. Lian looked at them and asked, "What's the matter with you two?" Little Zhao said softly, "Little Fatso and I saw someone stealing things." Mengmeng covered her mouth. "Ah." Lian's jaw dropped. "Are you serious?" "It's true, I also saw it." Little Fatso was gesticulating as he related what he saw. A woman's bag was nearly stolen by him, and now he's targeting another person. It's terrible. Mengmeng asked anxiously, "What should we do?" "I will go and inform my parents." Chenshin suddenly asked, "Where is he?" Little Fatso said, "We saw it happen at the bus stop by the entrance of the alley." Chenshin took the lead and walked forward. "Let's go and take a look." When he heard that, Little Zhao was terrified. "Ah. Why are we going to take a look at that? Hurry up." Chenshin glared at him. "Are you even a man? Why are you so spineless?" Little Zhao wiped away his sweat. "Okay. Fine." Lian was more scared and was shivering in fear, but when she saw her classmates following Chenshin, she could only grit her teeth and catch up to them. Wait for me. In front of the bus stop. Everything looked as usual at a glance. Chenshin turned around and asked softly, "Which one is he?" Little Fatso furtively pointed at a middle-aged man dressed in a gray shirt and then whispered very quietly, "That's him." Chenshin asked again, "Does he have an accomplice?" I don't know," Little Fatso said confused. As they were talking, they saw the middle-aged man dressed in a gray shirt making his move. Actually, Little Fatso and the rest did not manage to see clearly how the man did it. They only saw a middle-aged woman going up to a young and pretty lady to ask for directions. When the young lady turned her head to say something, the middle-aged man in the gray shirt immediately stretched out his hand. His movement was too fast and they were too far away, so it was difficult to make out whether he had used a blade or something else, but when the middle-aged man withdrew his hand, he was already holding something that looked like a purse in his hands. He then turned around to walk away slowly. Mengman was getting nervous. He stole it already. He stole it already. Lian pulled at her in panic. Mengman, lower your voice, don't let him hear that. The middle-aged man scanned the surroundings just before he left, so thankfully for Mengman, Lian, and the others, they were just 7- and 8-year-old children who had not attracted his attention. He did not even look at them. Chenshin observed the surroundings for a moment and hypothesized, that man has an accomplice. Little Zhao exclaimed, "Where? Wasn't he working alone?" Chenshin explained, that middle-aged woman who was asking for directions from the victim was his accomplice. She was responsible for diverting the victim's attention. Little Zhao was enlightened. So that's how it is. Chenshin, you're really smart. A warm-hearted person, Mengmeng said, then we should inform that big sister whose purse got stolen by them. No, we can't do that. Chenshin looked across the road and said, it's useless even if we let her know. When that thief committed the crime, he used a pocket knife that was about 3 inches long as his tool. So it's pointless even if that big sister chases after him. She might end up getting injured instead. Little Fatso was stunned. Was there a knife? How come I didn't see it? It's even 3 inches long? Little Zhao said, that's right, I didn't see it either, so how could you have seen it? Chenshin dismissively curled her lips. When I was only 3 years old, I followed my aunt and practiced the horse stance, standing stump, and started to learn martial arts as well. How can your eyes be sharper than mine? If I say that it is a knife, then it's a knife. Little Zhao lost his fight. Fine. Let me ask you guys this, do you all wish to capture the thief? Chenshin looked at them. Little Fatso said, I do, but that man has gotten too far away already. It will be too late even if we call the police now. Chenshin pointed at that middle-aged woman and said, he still has an accomplice over there, we will just follow her and find their meeting place or maybe even their hideout. Then we can capture them in one fell swoop. These bold claims immediately gave a scare to the other young children. What? We're going to follow her? But they have a knife. Chechen, why don't we just call the police? If we get discovered by them, we'll be in big trouble. Chenshin said, we are only young children, they won't notice us. Besides, we should stand up to help if we see injustice, isn't that what everyone should do? Lian turned pale. But the teachers say that even if we want to act bravely, it should be within one's limits. Chenshin looked at her and said, Comrade Lian, as our school's first batch of young pioneer members, isn't your level of consciousness too low? Lian said, I. Little Zhao also disagreed, but Chenshin looked beside her and said, Mengman, how about you? Upon hearing that, Mengman clenched her teeth and said, I will do as you say. Very good, this is more like it as a member of our class committee. Chenshin patted Mengman on her shoulders and then said to the boys, what about the two of you? Little Fatso hesitated, Chenshin pouted. As a girl, Mengman is brave enough to stand up against the evil forces. Why are the both of you boys behaving like cowards? Little Fatso was vexed. Who is a coward? Who's a coward? I'll go. Little Zhao also let out a scream. Son of a gun. I'll go as well. Who's afraid of who? Let's go and catch them. Let's capture them in one fell swoop. But after saying that, Little Zhao's legs and belly were obviously trembling with fear. Lian glanced at them and could only follow along with the majority. That's great. Chenshin nodded in satisfaction. Then she ordered, from now on, our temporary team of thief catchers is formally established. I'm the team leader, so all of you have to listen to my orders. Now, I'm going to assign an operation code name to each of you. Mengman, your code name is Squash. You are more familiar with this area since you live here, so I will give you a cell phone later and you will be responsible for contacting the police and informing them about the thieves' location at any time. Mengman was dumbfounded. Squash? Chenshin continued, Little Fatso, your code name is Black Bear and you're responsible for our safety. What the hell is this? Black Bear? Little Fatso stared at her. Chenshin said, Little Zhao, your code name is Bald Eagle and you're responsible for the alternative route tailing. Little Zhao nearly fainted. Bald Eagle? Why does it sound so lame? Chenchen looked at the last team member. Lian, you have the most important task. You must keep a certain distance from us. When the moment our whereabouts are exposed and our enemies discover us, you must seek help immediately. Oh, your code name is Black Widow. Lian. Mengmeng complained, all of the names sound awful. Little Fatso was flustered. Chenchen, what is your code name then? Chenchen leered at him and said calmly, it's the same for everyone. There isn't much difference in our code names. My code name is Sailor Guardian imbued with courage and wisdom. Mengmeng, PFFT. Lian almost vomited blood. How is that not too different? That is clearly way too different, alright? On the other side of the road, the thief's accomplice was already starting to move west. Chenchen immediately gave the order. The target is moving. Bald Eagle, cross the road and outflank her from that side. Black Widow, conceal yourself quickly. Black Bear, let's go together. Mengmeng stretched out her hand. Chenchen, give me your cell phone. Chenchen gave Mengmeng the cell phone she borrowed from Zhang Yi's mother for playing games. Then she said matter-of-factly, remember, during the mission, call me Sailor Guardian imbued with courage and wisdom. Mengmeng rolled her eyes and said, I got it. Chenchen acknowledged and said, go on, Squash. Mengmeng felt that it sounded very weird. Can I change to another code name? Can I change to something that's slightly firm and powerful? Squash sounds like a weakling. Firm and powerful? Sure. Chenchen thought for a moment and said, then your code name will Unbreakable Egg. Mengmeng remained silent for a few seconds, then she turned around and walked away while wiping her tears from off her face. Call me Squash instead. That woman who acted as the distraction for the thief had already crossed the road. Her pace was not fast but her eyes were very alert and sharp. She was observing the surroundings closely as she walked with a strong counter-spying mindset. After circling the area for a bit, she made a phone call before walking off in another direction. Chenchen led her team of thief-catchers and followed from a distance. Bald Eagle, you are too close to the target. Be careful of your concealment, be careful of your concealment. Squash, wait a little longer before you call the police. It's useless if you contact the police now, they will alert the criminals if they come too early. Even if they capture that woman, there's no evidence and we won't be able to find out where their hideout is. Black Widow, don't look at the suspect. Right, don't stare at her so hard, your cover will be exposed. Just follow us from behind. Chenchen commanded. The team members followed her orders accordingly. No matter how vigilant that woman was, she would never have imagined that there were 5, 7 and 8-year-old primary school students shadowing her. Even if she caught a glimpse of a primary school student occasionally, she would still filter out the threat and not treat it as something serious. 735 Chenchen copies Zhang Yi's poem. Chapter 735, Chenchen copies Zhang Yi's poem. Later that afternoon. Dao'er Pavilion Garden. Beside the lake, Zhang Yi had not gone home yet. He put on his sunglasses and face mask and came to sightsee at the lake. Since he did not have anything to do today, he just waited around for Mengmeng's parents to give him a call so that he could go and pick Chenchen up and go home. If he had gone home by himself first, he would have to come out again to pick her up. That would have been too troublesome. The atmosphere here was rather nice. There were many senior citizens who came here for a stroll. In front, an old man who came out to walk his bird even had a pocket radio he was tuned into and was playing through the speakers. He was listening to the news at the moment. Yesterday night, in an upscale villa district in Beijing's Chanshuan, a burglary took place. There was a reported loss of cash and other items totaling more than 100,000 RMB, along with a safe. According to sources, there was a jade bracelet and some jade accessories worth several millions in it.